There's always a time in sports when the proof is in the pudding. There's always a time in sports where the cream will always rise to the top, regardless of who your team is, what player you like, and what sport we may be talking about. The cream is always going to rise to the top. It's inevitable. That's why I love sports so much, because you can only hide so much. You can only deceive so much. You can only get marketed so much. You can only ride the popular vote so much. And when I think about the cream rising to the top, I think about what happens tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, the NFL Draft will take place in the city of brotherly love, the city of the best cheesesteaks, the city of the throwback Jersey Mitchell and Ness factory, the popular Temple University, the popular Villanova University. They have the best gyros in this city, and they're known to have a statue there that has been replicated for the belief of a movie. Tomorrow, Philadelphia, the NFL takes their NFL draft to primetime TV just for the first round, picks 1 through 32. And that's where we normally see the cream rise to the top. Which GM has been preparing? What scouts have done a good job? What head coach has direction? Which owner trusts his guys to make the right picks so that their organization continues to thrive or continues to rise? There's some GMs tomorrow that's going to make sure their organization continues to fall. You have the Cleveland Browns. What are they going to do with the number 1 pick? The San Diego Chargers need to turn it around. Jacksonville Jaguars need an answer to last year's debacle of a season. Even teams like the Phoenix, Arizona Cardinals, they have to figure out something to not have to go and finish 6-10 again with that much talent on that roster. Tomorrow, the cream rises to the top. You can say the same thing about the NBA playoffs. Right now in the NBA playoffs, and you guys know, if you've been listening to me all year long, I've been boycotting the NBA this year until they fix the league. Until you fix the league, until they until they stop guys from resting, until they fix their officiating, I boycotted the NBA this year. But I will say a little bit of the playoffs has had my attention, and the cream rises to the top. The proof is in the pudding. You can only flop your way to fouls and get into the free throw line night after night after night for so long in the NBA. Sooner or later, you play a tough team, you play in 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 games in a 2-week span, and you can't run and hide. I've been telling people about the Indiana Pacers all year long. I've been talking about Paul George for the last 3.5 years. Guys, ladies, we've seen the best Paul George that we're ever going to see. It won't get any better unless he plays with another top superstar in the NBA. He is what he is. And LeBron and the Cavs showed that. When you want to be a max player and you want out of Indianapolis and you want to come to the Lakers and you want to be the man in a big market, you have to win one of those games. You can't get swept by a star that you think you compare yourself to. And most of you that know me know I'm not a LeBron guy by far, but Paul George is not close to LeBron's level. Guys like Jimmy Butler, they're not close to LeBron. Stop it with this stuff. The cream rises to the top. Rondo Rajo, running the point for Chicago, goes into Boston. Game 1, game 2, they decimate Boston. I know Boston's got some other stuff going on, and I won't talk about that with Isaiah Thomas. I said on my show last week, just my prayers to him and his entire family. When it comes to death, there's nothing you can say. There's nothing that sounds good. That's nothing that's going to help that person cope with the death. But they got dismantled and demolished games 1, game 2 at home. And it was because of Rondo Rajo. Whether people like Rondo or not, whether people like Rajon or not, it does not matter. The cream rises to the top. That young man can still do something called play the point guard position. Period. He goes out and we see Chicago can't move up the ball. They can't pass. They can't assist. They can't defend the point. Isaiah Thomas is gone bananas. They can't create shots for other people. It becomes one-on-one basketball. And they look horrible without a point guard that no one wanted in Dallas, that no one wanted in Sacramento. And all he did in Sacramento last year was just go lead the league in assists. That's all he did. This year it turns around 11, 10 assists a game again. The cream rises to the top in sports. Damian Lillard calls Portland in 6. I get it. I want my superstar to have a positive attitude about winning. I want my superstar to think that we are going to go out and we are going to knock off the 2-time finals appearance, 1-time champion with the 2-time MVP, 1-time unanimous. I want my top superstar to think that we're going to go out and win too. But I don't think it's the smartest thing to say through the press that you're going to win in 6. And now that you're going to win in 6, what's happened, people? What does it look like right now? What did it look like? It looked like the cream team rise to the top. No head coach. No Kevin Durant for most of the series. And when you got him back, it was kind of like he had to warm himself up, work himself back in. And they get their ass kicked by 25 at home and get swept. It was 43-19, game over. That's like when the Patriots come out and they hit you 14-0, 21-0, game over. Yankees in their heyday come out, throw a couple runs on you early, game over. You got Mike Mussina on the bump. You know you got Mariano in the bullpen, but you're already up 4-0 in the second inning. Game over. The cream will always rise to the top. There's a couple of other sports stories that we'll get at. I'm your boy VJ Wright. Thank you for listening to VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct. I'm your host. As I said before, VJ Wright. That's because I was thinking I am #8515. Great show for you guys lined up today. We will talk about Marshawn Lynch to the Raiders. We will talk about Adrian Peterson to the New Orleans Saints. We'll get into some Russ Westbrook stuff. I want to talk more into what the Raiders could be. And speaking of which, I have fellow comedian, star in Hollywood from the Ha Ha Comedy Cafe, my man Raul Reyes. That's such a cool ass name, Raul Reyes. I don't think it's his real name. I really don't. He's got like a head full of hair. He's got like one of those the Hispanic full beards where the hair lays all nicely. He's got the right amount of salt and pepper sprayed. I don't like him. I hate him a lot. I think I hate him and like him all at the same time. And his name is Raul. Oh God, I know the ladies love that. Raul. He's gonna come in and debate. He wants to talk about the Raiders. We'll talk about the state of his Los Angeles Lakers now that the NBA season is done. I haven't talked a lot of Laker basketball, but I will get his opinion about what he thinks they should be doing, where they should be going. As I mentioned, we'll talk the Raiders, Marshawn Lynch. He says he has a beef and he can put me straight about Ryan Tannehill, my guy from my beloved Miami Dolphins. I told him, baby, just like The Rock used to say, just bring it. He'll be joining us at about 12:20 here, maybe in about 30 minutes. I also want to get into how Russell Westbrook is perceived in the NBA and why the NBA is so bad. What makes the NBA so bad is things like this. You got a guy average a triple-double. You got a guy that does just about every and anything you ask him to do on the basketball court. And simply because he has no weapons. Guys, listen, this is the era we live in. This is it. This is the era that we live in. We live in the era of super teams. You must have 2 or 3 guys to stand a chance. The man won 47 games in the Western Conference by himself. So if you look at the years, they won 46, 49, 61, 62, somewhere in that range. You look at those years. If you do the math, you're telling me adding Durant to that team was worth 8 wins. 8 to 12, 13 wins. And that's not trying to knock Kevin Durant. That's not what I'm doing at all, because anybody that knows me knows I love me some Kevin Durant. The Durantula. ISO Kev. I call him ISO Kev because one-on-one, nobody can do anything with him. One-on-one, nobody can do anything with Kevin Durant. But what Russell Westbrook has done is astronomical. What Westbrook has done, we've never seen before. We've never in our era of living seen a triple-double, and he did it. And we thought maybe Magic would do it. We thought maybe Jason Kidd could do it. We thought maybe Rondo at a point could do it. And of course, everybody's favorite flopper, crybaby, superstar, best player in the universe, including Pluto, even though Pluto's not a planet anymore, LeBron James. Many thought LeBron James could do it, and it's almost like he has a fear. I wouldn't say he's scared to do it. He's scared to do it because if he goes for it and doesn't get it, the criticism, he can't handle criticism. That's been his main thing. It doesn't motivate him like it did Jordan, like it did Kobe, like it did Shaq. It doesn't motivate like it did Isaiah. It doesn't really push him. The stars have to align for LeBron to win. Look at his career. The stars have to align every single time for him to win. When they don't align correctly for him, he loses. I don't want to hear about 6 and 7 and 13 and 47 straight trips to the finals. I don't care when your conference is trash. Speaking of Rondo, report comes out he will not play in Game 5 tonight. I was hoping to see Rondo. That basketball team, it shows you how bad they need him. He was supposed to be out for 10 to 15 days. It's not just the wrist. There's also a thumb issue in there also. He's really not ready to play, but it shows you how bad they need him. They are trying to rush him to play, and I get it. I get it. It's pro sports. Guys get paid multi-millions, and guys want to play too. I don't want to just hinge it on the money. There's guys that really want to play. There's guys that want to get out there and they want to play every single time that they possibly can. Everybody is not always into resting. This whole resting thing that we have grown to accustomed to loving. Everybody is not about the wrestling. There are a lot of players that want to go out and they want to play basically every single game they possibly can. And Rondo wants to get out there and play. And I totally get it. And his front office wants him to get out there and play. Frank Horborg wants him to get out there and play. I'm pretty sure Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler want him to get out there and play. Nice switch up, Sean. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, homie. I missed that joint right there. That joint was fresh. So Rajon Rondo will not play today. Also, in a non-sports story, but I just want to touch on it because I'm 50-50 on it. I understand business. That's why I'm successful. I'm growing and I'm going to be successful in Hollywood. I understand business. I understand marketing. I understand sales. I have 25 years of sales and marketing and customer service under my belt in the corporate world of United States of America. It's the same thing in Hollywood. I understand sales and business. But when you look at 100 people being laid off TV talent-wise with ESPN this morning, the 50% of it is I understand business. The other 50% of it is you gotta be shitting me. Overpaid for the BCS, overpaid for the NBA, and he overpaid for the NBA. And the reason why that deal was stupid and flopping is because look at the league. You didn't go look at the league. You didn't look where the league was trending. In business, you must look at the trend. It's like right now in stand-up comedy. You either can play the clubs real hard, or you can make a bunch of videos on YouTube, or you can go to open mic nights and try to get booked, or you could go try to get yourself an agent and get booked that way. You gotta follow what the trend is. The days have gone of just playing every club as much as possible in Hollywood and being discovered and making it big. You got to get on the road now. You got to go to San Jose. You got to go to Fresno. You got to go to San Fran. You got to go to Arizona. You got to go to San Diego. You got to go to New York, D.C., Chicago, Atlanta, the Midwest, Texas, Dallas, Austin. You got to go to some places. You got to follow the trend. How are people successful? How is this working here? What's the trend? Videos. Is videos really working still? Do I have to go make a when your girl checks your phone video with 3 of my friends and 1 female that we know from the local acting school? Do I have to? Is it trending that way? Or was it trending that way? I said 2 to 3 years ago, the NBA is trending in the wrong direction. I'm not feeling this league. I got called hater and everything else. Oh, you just hate the league is no. Plus, NBA fans, they're the hardest people to even have a decent sports conversation with. They are simply the hardest people to try to talk sports with. And when you look at what's happening today, Jay Crawford gone, Ed Warner gone, Trent Dilfer gone, Jason Stark gone, Danny Kanell. Danny Kanell was just on a radio show with Ryan Frasillo. So you just cut him and you got to rework the show. I'm pretty sure they got somebody in the wings waiting to step in. And that's where the 50% of the business side comes in. I'm thinking, hey, you guys are ready for VJ yet? You guys ready for me yet? All right, not yet? Okay. Well, you laid off 100 people. There's no spot for me. Host of VJs on Sports Like Conduct, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com. Host and creator, CEO of VJs on Sports Like Conduct, the TV debate show. Vest VJ Entertainment Sports Talk Company, CEO and founder. There's no, okay, I was just checking. But that's the part that's outside of sports that I don't like. You're taking voices away from the fans. You're taking faces away from the fans. When you let radio people go, you're really affecting a major fan base of people who loves to hear that guy's voice. It's like when you kill off a character on TV. Martin was nothing without Gina, and they tried. They tried to make funny episodes. I have every episode of Martin. I don't think I ever really watched any episodes after the cruise, the double episode of the cruise show with Lynn Whitfield was on there going crazy trying to kidnap and have sex with Martin. I think in season 5, I stopped right there. I don't go any further because there's no Gina. When you lose a face and you lose a voice, you're gonna lose a fan base. And I know a lot of people just think, well, it's ESPN, people will turn it on. And the Sports Talk Batcave live right now out in Los Angeles, California, that's not what's on my TV. I have Fox Sports 1 on. I know guys, Rob Parker shows me love. Mike Hill shows me love. Chris Broussard shows me love. I support the ones that show me love. I've known so many people from the Mouse that, say they can help, or say they want to do something for you, or tell you how good you are. Nothing. You have that kind of ego in America anyway nowadays. Most people, they want to be there, but they don't want anybody else to be there that they know because it gives them the chance to go around everybody they know and brag about how they're there and how great it is and how you're not. Like that's happened to me, trust me. But I just thought, just a sad, quick story this morning, man. 100 online journalists, anchors, just gone. I don't know who. I'm trying to figure out who else got next. Those are just the names I know. I know Ed Warner. I know Jay Crawford. Jay Crawford's could be a little bit of karma too. I would just leave that there. There could be some karma with a lot of these guys. A lot of stuff goes on behind closed doors. Everything happens for a reason. And all these networks are paying. Fox Sports 1 just brought Doug Gottlieb over from CBS Sports. He was with ESPN, got let go there, went and did some stuff in New York, got the job with CBS Sports, built himself back up there with his radio show that comes on, 3-hour slot every day, 4-hour slot, I believe, 3 or 4-hour slot. And now he's over to Fox Sports 1. He'll get a radio show there. He'll do some TV stuff there in Colin. He'll do some TV stuff there on Speak for Yourself. They probably got something in the wings for maybe him and a guy like Nick Wright to get together. They belong together. They act just alike. And even though Gottlieb is not a numbers millennial, because that's all Nick Wright is. All he is a numbers millennial. I would debate him under the table on any subject he ever wanted to touch. Any subject. Got to know the market. Got to know the trends. BCS deal wasn't a smart deal. NBA deal wasn't a smart deal. And now you got to cut good faces. And I was watching sports the other day. I didn't even know who I was watching. That's why they changed the 6 o'clock thing to the 6. 2 faces that you know. We're in a time of diversity right now, so let's put 2 black people on. We got to show that we're not like everybody else. We're diverse. We want to really, show people that anybody's got a shot here. We can do it with anybody. And I get it. I'm not hating on it. I'm not hating on either one of them. I'm happy for any brother or sister out here in a big time major industry getting their money. I'm never mad at that. I'm always up for that to happen. But this isn't the first time this has happened. There have been things that's happened that I saw up close and personal when they were laying off the background people, the editors, the highlight people, the PAs, the people who work in the control room, the people who work with the graphics department. I have friends who worked in those departments who came home one day and they just didn't have a job anymore. Nice severance package, but not a job anymore. I just think when things like this happen, it kills sports. When John Madden left the booth, it really hurt Fox NFL a little bit. You had to get used to different voices. And then Joe Buck became the voice of Fox football along with Troy Aikman. But Pat Summerall, God, you'll never forget those days of Pat Summerall and John Madden. You can't. You can't forget those guys. You know what CBS is going to be like when Jim Nantz goes away? Jim Nantz retires. You look at boxing, Howard Cosell. Guys that have been with ABC Sports. I like to watch certain games. Brent Musburger. I love college football Saturday night primetime games with Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit. Two good voices, two good personalities. I look forward to watching those games, not just because of the game, but to hear those gentlemen call it. That might be lost in sports TV now. Guys are getting fired. Guys are getting laid off. People are jumping to different networks. Fox Sports 1 doesn't have pretty much any NBA. Tirico left ESPN. He's with NBC. Only time you're really going to hear him is during the Olympics. Maybe Sunday Night Football, but I think they're still giving that to Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. Crazy, man. But like I said, it's business. But then you also realize that there's some families and things like that involved. Also, when we talk about Russ a little later in the show, I want to talk about this exchange between him and Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley is a really hard player, and I get that. But some people are just a little extra, and I just don't think it's needed because you can hurt people the way he plays. He hurt Westbrook before. Westbrook is still upset about that foul at the table when he's trying to call a timeout 3-4 years ago that caused him a knee injury he had to have surgery on and set his season and his career back. I know Russ still cares about that deeply. I guarantee it. We'll get into that a little bit. I do want to talk about the Golden State Warriors also. We'll get into them a little bit of how good is this team. And now that they brought Mike Brown in, and people that don't know Mike Brown's background, Mike Brown was the defensive guy in San Antonio. Why San Antonio was so good at defense for 7-8 years in a row. It was Mike Brown there under Popovich. Popovich was there too, but Mike Brown ran and constructed and schemed the defense for Greg Popovich. He did the same thing in Cleveland. Cleveland had a top-notch defense. LeBron James helps that a lot, but you got 4 other guys that's got to play defense. You got 3 or 4 bench players that you use that's got to play defense. And I thought when they brought him over as an assistant coach in Golden State, I thought that would help fix the defense because I thought that was a problem that they had in big moments last year. Their offense was able to overcome it sometimes, but when the offense couldn't overcome it, then they lost some of those games. Same thing this year, but that defense is starting to pick up. And it wasn't the offense. I've seen Golden State, we've all seen Golden State score 40-something points in a quarter. They've had 50 in a quarter, I believe, this year. I think this year their season high was 50 in a quarter. They had 50 before. 50. There's teams that can't get 50 at the half. They've done it in quarters. They have players that have put up 37 in quarters, 28 in quarters, 31, 32. I'm reading these numbers from Stephen Clay in quarters. But now that they're playing defense, and game 4 the other night in Portland, that was about defense. And you add a big, long rim protecting shot blocker like JaVale McGee. And I think Shaq messing with him and that whole thing really blowing up and getting ugly, I think that helped JaVale McGee. I said it then. I said, this is going to help him. I didn't try to go either help or hurt. We know that. Thank you, Captain Obvious, VJ. No, I picked a side. I said, this is going to help him. He's with a team where he doesn't have to be the star. He's with a team where he's going to get a little play. He's not going to get a whole bunch of minutes, but enough minutes to affect the game and affect the way things go down. And he's doing exactly that. And now, like DeAndre Jordan, Steph Curry has a big guy that just roll to the rim and throw a lot. Draymond Green threw him 2 the other night. He caught them both clean, cocked the legs open. Dunk time. But he also helps on the defensive end. And Mike Brown now coaching, and prayers out to Steve Kerr. Not sure what's going on exactly. They haven't put a full story out, but it's definitely an issue. Especially when I hear people coming out and saying that he should think about retiring. When I hear things like that, and guys are like, I really think he should think about retiring, that is very alarming. When I bring my man Raul Reyes on, I will get into that a little bit with the Golden State Warriors and ask him where he feels about that. But also, guys, the big story today, we will talk a lot of NFL draft, where teams go. There's a mock draft that I saw that I really, really like a lot. Where certain teams will go, we'll talk about Reuben Foster not being invited to the draft. Conley, defensive back, being accused of rape. April 9th back in Cleveland. stories like that, man. I love the ladies. I have daughters. I have a mother. I have a grandmother. I have female cousins, sister, aunties. I have a fiance. I'm all about protecting the ladies. But in the world that we live in, you just always have to question it because we've seen so many women go out and lie about this. And I'm not saying that's what she's doing, but it doesn't, I'm just saying it doesn't sound like the most, apparently, per source reports, there's a lot of witnesses and they both have each has a side of the story. And I'm assuming her side is probably her friends, his witnesses are probably his friends. No, he forced himself on her. He raped her. Nah, she was down for it. They knew what was up. They came back with us. I'm not sure what the whole story is, but he is now not going to appear up at the draft. I want to talk a little bit about Deshaun Watson. I touched on it last week on our 420 show because I wanted to know on 420 what the hell was GM smoking. How you don't see what Deshaun Watson is? How? I just don't get it with certain GMs sometimes. How do you not see what Deshaun Watson is? And now people are talking about he could slide out of the first round. Sidebar, if you guys watch Undisputed, have you guys seen this host on here? Undisputed on Fox Sports 1, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless. Have you guys seen this Hispanic little Latina host on here? Man. Just if you don't watch it, turn to it. It's on right now. Fox Sports 1. It's on right now. If you got DirecTV, channel 219. Check this host out. She's yeah. One day she decided to wear a little dress that was low cut. And the internet blew up. And her Twitter and her Instagram blew up. Yeah. So take a quick break. When we come back, man. I'll bring in my man Raul Reyes. We'll talk some more NFL stuff. I want to get into the draft, but we'll bring Raul in, debate a little bit. I told him, if you really want to lose, man, you're going to take your first L on VJs and Sportsmanlike Conduct. I don't lose too much. 85-15. You guys know that. 85-15, man. VJs and Sportsmanlike Conduct, Spreaker.com. Sports with Like Kinda live on Spreaker.com. I'm your host, VJ Rex, because I always think I am. Hashtag 8515. Big story today, guys. Marshawn Lynch is signed with the Raiders. I'm reading a report that he actually got out of the car and sprinted into the facility to sign and finalize his deal. I think the AFC just got flipped on its head. I really do. I do not think this is just another easy walk for the Patriots. The one thing the Patriots have done only once, and of all the rings they have, is gone back to back. Back to back against the Panthers and the Eagles. And at that point, they'd won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. And that's when the dynasty started. Then they picked up the 4th one against Seattle, picked up number 5 against the Atlanta Falcons. It is hard to repeat in the NFL. And they'll be good. They'll be 12-4, 13-3. They'll be right there. But I'm going to give a little love to my Dolphins. I'm going to wait for the draft. Because we do need to address linebacker. And we need to still address that other corner position. I know they like what they have there, but I just don't think that they like it enough that they won't go do something or they won't go get something late, maybe in the second round. I actually like the move about Marshawn. Marshawn is not a guy that was really done. Now, here's the thing. He did face some injuries towards the end of his days when he was in Seattle. And I get that. But he also was run. And I'm telling you right now, this is definitely a slight to the Seattle Seahawks. He is still pissed about not getting the ball when he felt like he should have got, where a lot of people felt like he should have got the ball. I have a mock draft up here. We'll get into that a little bit. I want to talk about Myles Garrett also when we get to the draft. You got players coming out. You got people coming out. They just said they just don't see it. They see a guy that takes off way too many plays. And I do remember this. I do remember Warren Sapp talking about Javanian Clowney, and I was right along with it. I have podcast episodes 3-4 years ago you guys can go back and still listen to what I said about Javanian Clowney. I thought that ESPN blew up that one play. They reverbed that play over and over and over again where he hits the Michigan player in the bowl game and knocks his helmet off. If you watch the rest of that game, Taylor Lewan, offensive tackle, left tackle right now for the Tennessee Titans, manhandled him majority of the game. You had Steve Spurrier say, well, he's not going to be the last. He won't be the first in. He ain't going to be the last. He's not that guy. He ain't going to be the first in the building. He ain't going to be the last at the building. His own college coach said that about him. Which college coach throws his player out there like that? But he's asked, and it probably irritated Steve Spurrier from time to time. I guarantee it probably bothered him from time to time that he took that type of attitude when he was playing football there. Warren Sapp said this. It'll take 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years for this kid. He's gonna have to learn. He just doesn't have that come in, explode, disrupt, take care of himself, stay focused, be dedicated. He don't have it because you can see it in his college play. Myles Garrett's another guy like that. We have Mitchell Trubisky possibly going number 1. What's Cleveland going to do there at number 1? San Fran's sitting at number 2. I think San Fran is sitting in a position that I thought Philly was sitting in last year at number 2. I understand Wentz is there. But in NFL, you must be able to play defense. And I said several times on every draft show I had last year, I wanted the Eagles to take Jalen Ramsey. Lock down your corner position for the next 7 to 8 years because you have to cover Odell Beckham. You have to cover Deshaun Jackson. At the time, Deshaun Jackson's not there anymore, but he's down in Tampa. So it's still an NFC team he's probably going to have to see during the year. All right, Philly, not him. Jalen Ramsey's in Jacksonville now, but Philly is still another receiver you might need to see. You have Des Bryant in Dallas. You have receivers that you have to cover twice a year in your schedule. Why not go get that corner right now? And I think San Francisco is sitting right there in the same position. You could go for Mitch Trubisky at number 2 if you want, because I believe Cleveland just takes Myles Garrett because you just almost have to. It was just like Javanian Clowney. The Texans, they took him because they just kind of had to. You hear these stories of laziness and work ethic, but when you put the tape on, you see these highlight plays, it's so hard to turn away from it. And I get it. GMs are drafting for their jobs, their livelihood, their ability to take care of their wife and kids and family and drive, high-end cars and eat in high-end restaurants and wear nice suits and travel the world. To make that obscene amount of money, GMs are under the pressure to make sure you got to draft what's there. And I think Cleveland takes them just because they have to. You have to. But I think he goes there and, oh, my God, it's Cleveland, right? That's hard. But the Niners are sitting right there. Jamal Adams out of LSU is a certified 8 to 10 years starting productive chaos-causing safety out of LSU. You have to get that now. You chase Russ around twice. You have Larry Fitzgerald, and you have that offense and down with the Cardinals twice a year. You got a safety, so you need to stop David Johnson in the run game. You got to stop John Brown. You still have Larry Fitzgerald. Even flip over to the Rams. We don't know what the Rams are going to be in 2 to 3 years. They have a quarterback in golf that they think is the guy. So that means they want to throw the ball. They want to get the ball out there, right? You want to kind of sling this thing around a little bit. So you're going to need a safety to help with that. You're going to need a defensive back to help with that. I like that pick there. Take a quick break. When we come back, I'm bringing in my man, Raw Reyes. We're going to debate, and I'm going to crush him. He's going to take his first loss here on VJs on Sports Like Kinda. I love the guy. These guys are messing with me hard at the comedy club, man. Booking me, double booking me, trying to work me up to the pain shows, man. So I respect them for that point of it, but he's about to get destroyed when he comes in here. VJs on Sports Like Kinda. I'll be back in a quick second, guys.
Check it out now. Let me mob on these niggas real quick. Yeah. You gotta fuck with my realness. I'm sick with it like I'm stuck with an illness. It ain't luck that I'm still rich. Just more reason for me to tuck and conceal this. Your boy might have to hit a fuck nigga kill switch. Snap right back to me standing in the projects. Baking soda box and son handing me the Pyrex. We was small in, but the plan was to be 5X. The world is yours playing, but man, I need that Nas Lex. SC400, that's all your boy wanted. And the light-skinned shorty from next door that's frontin'. She couldn't see that I was that next bar, son. Maybe I just needed to flex more, son. Now I hit that fucking Rolex store for nothing. And I could teach niggas, give lectures on stunting. And if I need a bitch, I could text yours or something. Then she don't see me the next tour or something. Shit crazy, right? Imagine me when I was 23, riding through Brooklyn, realizing it's only one of me. Noticing I'm who the wannabes wanna be. And feeling like all of y'all don't want none of me. In his kitchen, step back and watch the chef cook. My corner told me count a jabs with a left hook. Give me mine, you don't wanna see my stress look. I drive through with the mask looking like Westbrook. Cash me out for the 20 G's I'm in there. Now multiply it by how many times I've been here. 40 G's for the show with the end years. Dog, I ain't hit an ATM in 10 years. There's a difference in getting money and got money. I'm just a winner with a pocket full of pot money. I ain't judging, baby, go and get that dot money. Better save for a rainy day when it's not sunny. You know niggas change just like the weather. Get in one argument and just like whatever. Meet a new bitch who look just like whoever. People saying wasn't they just like together? My bitch ass feels soft just like my leather. Got a good head on her, I just like it clever. This life forever, fuck the lame ass shit. You wouldn't look this good in the same ass fit. I'll give it to you niggas on some aim blast shit. Then give it to your sons on some Dame Dash shit, boy. You niggas ain't bosses anyway. A 9 to 5 beat a 10 of life any day. Get your money, cause ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. You scared to death, you scared to look, you shook. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. You scared to death, you scared to look, you shook. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Scared to death, you scared to look, you shook. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
Stupid.
Just a vibe, man.
He killed that joint right there, right? Nice play, Sean. I love that right there. VJs on Sports Like Conduct, live on Spreaker.com. Don't forget to catch us podcasted later on iHeartRadio. Before we went to break, I was talking about Marshawn Lynch, and there's a report that he actually got out of his car. His car pulls up. He gets out of his car, and he sprints into the facility there to finalize his contract, which I just thought that's just so Marshawn, right? It's so Marshawn. And I also mentioned that I believe that this has turned the AFC on its head. There's a few other teams I like. I'm still gonna wait till after the draft to put my opinions out there as far as who's gonna win what. where teams are going to place. Yes, the Patriots are still going to be around people. The Patriots are still a good football team. You know, nothing's happening with New England. But I do think there will be some other teams that will be in the mix this year to actually push New England and make it a little harder than them just kind of skating through the AFC. I think my beloved Dolphins will be a lot better this year. And we'll get into that here in a second. But more on Marshawn and what this does. You have Amari Cooper. You have Crabtree. I think Crabtree got his heart taken when he got his chain. If you black, you understand that. You get your chain taken, that just does something to a man. And speaking of which, man, I have my boy coming in right now. Fellow comedian out of the Ha Ha Comedy Cafe in North Hollywood. The club is messing with me, man. It's a great scene over there. And one of the comedians over there is an avid and just ridiculous comedian sports junkie. So I wanted to bring him on to the show, debate a little bit back and forth, talk about his Raiders. Welcome into the show, my man, Raul. The guy's got the coolest damn name. I don't think that's your name, Raul. Be honest with me. You made that up to get the honey dips, right?
No, man, that's my name, man. That's my name. That's what, that's what my parents call me. I don't know what drugs they're wrong when they named me that, but that's what they named me, right? Now, let's talk about Marshawn Lynch, man. I love Marshawn Lynch. I think it's a good addition to the Raiders. I think it's going to bring a lot. But like you said, let's kind of temper expectations because, you never know. He's older. He's over 30, so you never know what's going to happen. But behind that line, he's not going to have to be used as much as he was in Seattle. Because let's get it straight. Seattle's line they didn't have very good line. So the line that the Raiders are going to have, in front of Marshawn Lynch is one of the best lines in the league. So, so I think he's going to be a little bit more healthy with the Raiders. So I think it's a great addition to the Raiders. Man.
It's a great addition, and I honestly am not going to tame my expectations because I actually know people who know Marshawn. My fiance is from L.A. She has people from the Bay. We actually have a mutual, very good friend. Is more my fiance friends, but she's become my friend who went to high school with Marshawn. She knows him. We talk about him all the time. His mentality, the way he takes care of his body, a year off away from the game. I think Marshawn is going to show up and set the AFC West on fire. I think he needed a year off to heal the body. He had been running to the ground, and I think part of him is still pissed he didn't get the ball on fourth down right at the goal line of the Super Bowl. I think he still holds a personal feeling against that, and he wants to show people he's still beast mode.
Yeah, I was watching the Super Bowl. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that is the play that you have to run right there. Why are you not running Marshawn Lynch right there? And that to me was probably like an ego hit to him. Like, probably, I don't know if there was Pete Carroll sending a message to him, but he should have not came back to Seattle. Why would you come back if they're not going to hand you the ball in the biggest game of the year? Why would you even come back? There's no reason to come back. And for him to come home to Oakland, it's a coming home for him. It's going to be a great sign because plus it kind of takes us a little bit the sting away of the Raiders moving to Las Vegas. It doesn't take it all away, but it kind of helps it out. So I love that this from Marshawn Lynch. And for the money they got him, he can get up to $8 million with all these clauses and everything. If he gets more than 1,000 yards, he'll get $2 more million. So there's a lot of incentives for them. So I'm really happy that they got Marshawn Lynch, man. I think it puts us to win the AFC West, but like you said, there's still other teams of it. There's still like New England. Miami's gonna do decent. And there's still other teams in the AFC, but the Raiders are going to be at the top of the class.
Yeah, and they said that Carr is almost back to 100%. He'll be ready to show back up. Like I said, I think this is huge for the AFC. I think it's huge for the Raiders. And even if I were to even just go and just look at the schedule itself, they start out on the road at the Titans, home against the Jets, at the Redskins, at the Broncos. I actually like 4-0 out the box. When I look at those first 4 games, they can go win that game at the Titans. Now the Titans are built to run the football, and they play great defense. They have a top 5 defense. Dick LeBeau has showed up over there and brought what he was doing over in over with Pittsburgh for so many years. And Dick LeBeau, I don't think people realize Dick LeBeau's been in the NFL for about 40 to 50 years. He was a Hall of Fame defensive back with the Detroit Lions. So, and then you come home for the Jets. The Jets are a mess. You go to the Redskins. The Redskins are a mess. Now you go to the Broncos early in the year. But if they don't have a quarterback, that's a winnable game. You guys have gone out there in the last few years and beaten them. I like 4-0 to start. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do like 4-0 start. And you know what? And I like it. I look at the schedule, and I think they can go 6-0. I really think they can go 6-0 to start, and I really think they could like dominate a lot of these teams. Because a lot of teams that play, some of them are young, and some of them are not that great on defense. Besides having Marshawn and staff, Jared Cook, who is a good tight end, is a good complement to Derek Carr, and then they have Crabtree, and they even picked up Cordell Patterson for the slot. So I like our offense. Our defense, I'm a little afraid of our defense because our secondary got touched a lot. Sean Smith needs to stop looking at the quarterback and actually start trying to put.
I know all about Sean Smith. We drafted him in the second round out of Utah. I know all about Sean Smith.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, I think he needs to step up his game and earn his money. He's saying he's a big time corner, or he needs to step up his game. The only thing that I'm afraid of, plus online, I wish the commissioner would make up his mind on Alden Smith. He already brought back Darrell Washington, who's been suspended for a total of 3 years. Is he going to continue to suspend Alden Smith, or is he going to reinstate him? We need to know, because Alden Smith on that line will make a difference for the Raiders.
And you're saying 6-0 because you have 3 in a row after the first 4 at home. Ravens, Chargers, Chiefs. The Chargers game is a division game. Chiefs game is a division game. Even though it's home, I still think those are tough games. The Ravens coming out, think you can get that one. And then you have to fly back across the country at the Bills. And I guess they'll stay out there because that following week, they're also at Miami, which I'll be at. I'll be flying out to Miami for that game. My fiance is a huge Raider fan.
Why would you fly out for Why would you fly out for a loss? We're gonna hand you the loss.
Man, get out of here, dog. Get out of here. Go look at like the last 5 Raider Dolphins games. We own y'all, dog. Y'all don't beat us.
I'm looking at them, but come on, look at the offense they're gonna have. This team is way different. Plus, we kept what we need to keep, and our team is gonna be way different on offense. And you know that. Come on, this team will scare anybody on offense. They're tight end, they're running back now. And then we have a good slot receiver. What else do we need, DJ? Tell us. And we have one of the best lines in the league. If not the first best line, the second best line in the league. What else can you tell me?
You can have one of the best lines in the league when we have the league's best defensive tackle and we have one of the top 2 pass rushers. And are you kidding? And Dominican Sue is one of the. Are you kidding me, dog? Are you kidding me? Are you that Raider fan? Are you that Raider fan, Raul? Are you kidding me, bro?
If Dominican Sue is a year away from playing, you're going to be considered like an Albert Hayesworth type signing.
Oh, stop it. You sound ridiculous. He made All-Pro. He made All-Pro the last 2 years.
He has not lived up to that money, and you know he hasn't lived up to that money.
No. First of all, let me educate you on something about me. I am not a sports guy who talks about money. It's sports. It's pro sports. There's millions to be paid. There's millions to be spent. There's something called agents. Their job is to get a guy the most money so he can get his cut at the most money. They wasted that money. Who are you going to spend it on? That's what even with the Lakers, and we'll go to your Lakers in a minute, when people got mad about Timothy Mozgov or Luol Deng, my reaction is like, who are you spending it on, though? There's a rule there's a rule in the CBA that you have to spend a certain amount of money. In Major League Baseball, in NHL hockey, in the NFL, and NBA, you have to spend a certain amount of money.
Yes.
And we weren't the only one. He was the biggest fish in the free agent. It wasn't like we overpaid.
But do you really think he has lived up to who he's supposed to be?
Yeah. See, the only reason, when you ask me that, I think you're looking at numbers, and what Ndamukong Suh does is he has allowed our average ass linebackers to actually look like decent linemen. And I'm a fan, but I'm real about my team. I'm not a guy that's a homer at all. I'm real about my squad.
That's why I'm asking you, for the money he got, do you think he has this? And I know you say you're not a money guy, but for stuff he has done, has he lived up to the contract? That's
Okay, so let me. Then I have to oppose it with the question. What do you mean by lived up? Was he supposed to carry us to a Super Bowl by now?
No, but he's supposed to get you back to Patriots at least.
Oh, really? He's supposed to. The one defensive tackle is going to get us past Belichick's defense and past Tom Brady. One defensive tackle is going to do that, right?
No. But he's supposed to be an anchor on that thing. And I'm telling you, he is not. I don't know. I like Dominican too. I think he's a great tackle. But I don't think he's lived up to the money he's gotten. That's just my opinion.
And that's fine. You can have that opinion. I told you when we were texting last night, I let people say what they want. I'm not going to try to change your mind. I'm just going to debate it with you. When I hear, well, has he lived? The only people, in my opinion, that have to live up to contracts are the quarterback. Because the quarterback is the leader. He's the guy that leads the team. He's the only guy I look at in football and go, did he live up to his contract? Because you don't have to pay a receiver $15 million, but we see it. But the receiver has to have the quarterback to throw him the football in a line that protects the quarterback.
Okay. If that's your logic, then how about Albert Hainsworth? $100 million. You think he lived up to his money? Of course not. Right?
Yeah, but look what Albert Hainsworth did. Albert Hainsworth was a head case, and we're also talking about the Washington Redskins.
And it's not a head case.
No, he doesn't do this shit, Albert. Albert Hainsworth, bro. Right. Albert Hainsworth, and let me tell you what Ndamukong Suh is. And I can relate to this because I was this type of player. Ndamukong Suh doesn't play at the whistle. He doesn't play through the whistle. And Ndamukong Suh plays it with my 8th grade coach, Mr. Coach Covington, used to say to me, play to the echo of the whistle. His job is to slam people down. It's hard. If you're talking about the trips and stuff, yes, that's some dirt. That's some shit that he did in Detroit. He hasn't done it in Miami, so I don't care about it because he hasn't done it with us. But the leg whip on Jay Cutler, I'm like, dude, this is the NFL. Did he have to stick his leg out like that and slam Jay Cutler on his shoulder? No, he didn't have to, but it's a football tackle. It's a football play. Ray Lewis was a little rough. We know guys like Rodney Harrison was voted dirtiest player in the league by his own peers. Yeah. But yeah, of course, even with the leg kick up thing in the Green Bay game, yes. The trip in the Chicago game, I get where you're saying, but since he's been in Miami, show me the play that you would look at and go, yep, he's still Ndamukong Suh. Show me the play. I watch every Dolphins snap, and he hasn't done it in Miami. So to be honest with you, I could care less what he did in Detroit.
Okay.
So he's not ahead. Albert Hainsworth stepped on a guy's face, bro, with his helmet off. Albert Hainsworth showed up out of shape, poor work ethic, no loyalty to the game, no loyalty to his teammates. You know what Ndamukong Suh does in Miami? He's just only the first guy in, voluntary workouts, last guy to lead, leads the young guys, model citizen in Miami. I mean, come on! I know this stuff for sure, bro. Like, I'm a fan. I have sources down there. They said the guy, he works with the young guys. He's the first guy there. He's the last guy to lead. He sits in offensive meetings. He said, trust me. And Ndamukong Suh is the reason why the Dolphins can go after a linebacker or a defensive back with the number 22nd pick. They don't even have to attack our defensive line is fine. And it starts with him. I'm sorry, dog. It starts with him.
Yeah. Those are valid points, but I'm just saying like I said, that's my opinion and that's what I think. And I do have a time in my opinion. I'm going to tell you that's what I think about Ndamukong Suh. But like I told you, it's going to be a good time in the AFC next year. You know, it's going to be a good time in the AFC next year. And the Raiders, I think, are going to be the class of the AFC.
And you have every right as a fan. Like, hey, listen, man. If I'm a Raider fan this morning, Raul, I'm gassed. If I'm a Raider fan this morning, I'm looking at 12-4, 13-3. And I go look at the schedule, and I looked at who we're playing, and you know the Chargers, they have problems. The Chiefs are going to be good. They were good last year. They were good the year before. Chiefs are going to be good. It's going to be between you guys and the Chiefs. The Broncos don't have a running back. They don't have a quarterback, and they have an average offensive line. They have aging defensive stars. Ware has walked away. I know they still have Von Miller there, but Talib is on the downhill.
It's aging.
It's aging. Exactly. So if I'm a Raider, I'm not going to debate that, bro. Let's flip over to another running back. What did you think about the Adrian Peterson signing with the New Orleans Saints?
Adrian Peterson, I like the signing because he's once again he's in an offense where like he's not going to be the primary person. He's not going to be the primary guy because Drew Brees gives it to everybody. So when they really need Adrian's going to be ready to go. I wanted Adrian Peterson on the Raiders. I just think Adrian Peterson is a beast, and Adrian Peterson is not a normal human being the way he is. You know, he's not. Yes, he's over 30, but come on, look at Minnesota's line that he ran and back up in Minnesota at that time. What is he going to do? Coming back injury and then running through that line? Who's going to do something? And for them to say he's old, I don't think so. I think Adrian Peterson still has some stuff left in the tank. That's my opinion, man.
I totally 100% agree with you. I think Adrian Peterson, and it's because of, like you said, they don't need him to be a 30 carry back down there. Drew Brees is going to throw that thing around, spread around. And I'm not a big Alabama guy. As the more we do shows together and the more you listen to my show, I have these little rules I live by when it comes to sports, and one of them is Alabama running backs.
Alabama.
Other than your name being Sean Alexander. If your name's not Sean Alexander, I don't want to hear anybody brag to me.
Alabama players, if you look at the Alabama players that have been drafted lately, bust.
Yeah, true.
D. Milner.
True. True. Yo, D. Milner's getting cooked. He's been getting cooked in New York for the last 2 to 3 years, and they were talking about actually trading him. They had him on the trading block, but their running backs, if you go to Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson, Mark Ingram, TJ Yeldon, I can name them all, dog. And when they get to the league, they're not playing behind that big, massive, Alabama offense. I said the same thing about Ohio State running back. Ohio State running back, same thing. Now, Ezekiel Elliott. Go ahead.
I can't give TJ Yeldon a bust label yet because he's only been there 2 years, but he looks like a bust. And I think Alabama is mostly because they tell their offensive runs little run-down thing, they think, and these players do not come out like defense, offense, like whatever you have when it comes to Alabama players. How come they're not good in the pros? Why are they not good in the pros? There's only a few players that have been good in the pros. First player, he's going to be a first round pick, and they suck.
Well, they do have Landon Collins. They do have Ha Clinton Dix. They do have. I mean, shit. You guys have one of their line. I forget the. You guys have one of their linebackers, and I liked him when he came out of college, and he's been great for you guys.
I know you're talking about. Nico Autry.
No, not just him. There's another one. There's another one too. You guys have another linebacker from Alabama that's done nothing but produced for you guys too. But C.J. Mosley, he's another one for the Ravens. C.J. Mosley is a Pro Bowler, all-pro linebacker.
But look, BJ, how many Alabama players get drafted a year?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, and they'll have 3 or 4 guys taken in the first round tomorrow night. Another quick topic I want to get to. I want to talk about your Lakers real fast. I know you're a Laker fan. I haven't talked a lot of Laker basketball because I've just been kind of boycotting the NBA. But just overall, tell me what you think about the Lakers. Magic Johnson's in the building now. Do you like these young kids? Do you want them to go after Russ? There's rumors about Russ wanting to play here. Paul George wanting to play here. Anthony Davis wanting to play here. Just give me your outlook on what you go ahead and vent on your Lakers for a second.
Oh, man, right? Yeah, it is a bit when you talk about the Lakers, right? Because, the NBA needs the Lakers and Knicks to be good in order to be a profitable NBA. Come on, the mecca of the NBA is such, the Knicks are horrible and the Lakers are not good. So, yes, they need to build a team, but I don't think Paul George is the man to build the team around. I just don't see it. He's a little moody. He doesn't look like a player that he can build a team. I like D'Angelo Russell, but I still needs to be more consistent. Julius Randle needs to develop a better shot. It's going to shoot from the outside and not play the post because he's not tall enough. He needs to do better. I like Brandon Ingram. I'm a big Ingram fan, but he needs to get some weight on and play good. I like the young core. They need veterans. What's going to take time? Because he signed Moscow and Luol Deng those contracts. And I like some of these young players that they got. that guy from Houston, I forgot his name. He played real good. The point guard that they got from Houston, he played good. He played good, and the thing is that the Lakers, I think, need to develop continuity, and I really hope they keep the player in the draft, and that's the only way they're going to get good. They're not going to get good overnight with just one player. It doesn't work that way. Paul George is not the type of player that just make your team good, because you're going to have to give up Ingram and the pick, or you have to give up D'Angelo Russell and the pick. Why would you do that and start destroying your team again? It's ridiculous.
If you're the Lakers and you end up with the second, they're not getting number one. You end up with the second or the third pick. Who do you take? What do you do with the pick? Not who do you take. What do you do with the pick?
I draft.
Who?
I take Ball.
Really? You like Ball that much?
Yeah, I like Ball. I like Ball in the Lakers system. That's why I like Ball in the Lakers system. I don't think Ball is like the dopest player ever. But come on, like NBA is a crapshoot, man. Only like 4 or 5 of those players are actually going to be decent in the league, and it takes like 2 or 3 years for them to actually be decent. But come on, man, like 2 or 3 of those players. The one from Washington, he's going to be good. Josh Jackson's a good player, and I like Ball. Those are the only 2 players I see that are going to be impactful players, that are going to be like impactful, that are going to play right away. Everybody else is just a crapshoot, man.
I moved the pick if I'm the Lakers, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're not going to take, or whoever they draft, they're trading. They're not going to take a young guy. I think Magic likes the core now. I have a source within Spectrum, with the Spectrum Network that used to be the Time Warner Network. I have a guy who works over there, covers the Lakers closely. Told me on the exit interviews, they had a meeting one-on-one with everybody. They told D'Angelo, we want you to work on your body and we want you to work on your quickness. Ingram, they want to put weight on. Randall, I think they want to keep some of the young guys, but they'll move them with the pick if they can. And I'm just going to go out on a limb. They're going to sign Paul George. He's not the guy to build around. I agree with you. I said earlier on the show today, and I've been banging on Paul George for 3 years. I think he thinks he's on the level of Steph and LeBron and those guys, Harden, Durant, Russ, and he's just not. I never saw it. I tell people all the time, we've seen the best PG that we're going to see. We're never going to see a better Paul George than what's already been given to us. So, I don't think you build around him, but I don't think you build around him, Raul. But I do think he's a piece if you get another A guy, Russ Westbrook or Anthony Davis.
How are you going to get another A guy? How are you going to get another A guy? The contracts are not going to allow you to get another A guy. They're not going to allow you. There's not enough money to get another A guy in there.
Trust me, Magic knows what he's doing. They'll move money around. They'll move some contracts around. There are teams. Everybody, I tell you right now, I'll make a call right now. There are teams that will take the Mozgov contract. Trust me on this. There are teams that will take the contract and they'll try to move him. Maybe they'll service him on some board, use him for some rebounds and the 12-foot jumper that he's really good at hitting. Use him for a year. Maybe move him again a year from now, which would be 2019, which won't matter because we're heading for a lockout anyway. So it's not 2019 is not going to matter. I said last year.
Let me ask you something, Eugene.
Sure.
I want to know something. I want to hear something. I was thinking about this. Who do you think is the MVP of the NBA?
It depends on how you're asking me the question. If you're asking me the question because of like the way the media is portraying it, then I have a different answer from who is the true like most valuable player to his team. And to me, it would be a tie. So I'll give you 2 answers. No, Harden's not in the discussion to me. He's not in the discussion. The discussion is Russ, Kawhi, and LeBron. Because if you look at those 3 teams, LeBron is LeBron. You kind of sound like a hater if you don't put it. And I'm not a LeBron guy. I texted you that last night. I'm a 100% valid, proud LeBron hater. I make no bones about it. I'm not an irrational hater. I'm a valid hater. The things I point out are factual and the shit that we've seen on TV when he plays. I don't go with he's not that good. LeBron's freaking great. But he's not Kobe. He's not Magic. He's not Jordan. He's not Bird. He's not Dr. J. He's not Kareem. He's not those guys. He's just not.
No, he's not.
But
he's not. And let me tell you
what I want to answer your question real quick. But if he leads that team, that's probably a 30 to 35 win team. I feel the same way about Kawhi. And Russ has put together what we keep saying won't be done. Just like the Triple Crown. We said no one's going to win the Triple Crown again. And then Miguel Cabrera comes out and he does it. He puts it up there. Russ has done the same thing. So if you're asking for my marketing answer, it's Westbrook. But if you're asking for, man, just look at who's the most important to their team. It's 1A and 1B to me. It's Kawhi and LeBron.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. I actually want Kawhi Leonard to win because the reason I want Kawhi Leonard is because I like Kawhi. San Antonio has a lot of players that are not known, and Kawhi Leonard is just playing his butt off. But the thing is that I don't think about LeBron. I like LeBron, but I think athleticism is the first thing to go. Like, prior that's the first thing it takes for you. He's a very athletic player. His shot, I don't think, again, prior to Kobe or these other players that are the big players in the league shot. So I think LeBron has two or three more good years, and then I think it's going to go down after that.
Well, there's a report out today that USA Today thinks that Tom Brady will play longer than LeBron. The USA Today has a report out today that they think, and maybe they have a source, maybe they don't, I don't know, but they think LeBron will retire before Tom Brady does. Yeah. There's a lot. Tom Brady's playing 4 more years, man. I don't know what he's doing.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. It's the avocado ice cream, man. It's the rejuvenated pajamas that Nike made for him.
He is not gonna play.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Raul.
Tom is undefeated, man. He's no great guy, man. He's no kicker. He's not gonna play until he's like 45 years old. It doesn't work that way, man. He's not going to play 4 more years. It's impossible.
No, he is.
For him to play. No.
And guess what? No. Just like we were just talking about, people said a triple-double was impossible. People said the Triple Crown in today's baseball was impossible, and we've seen it done, Raul.
I don't think so, man. I don't think Tom Brady. No.
4 seasons. 4 seasons. What? You and I will probably be touring around the country at that time, so I'll remember this. One thing you'll learn about me, too, is I'm a guy, I don't forget shit, bro. I remember all the callers I have. I remember everything that I debated was said, and I am definitely, and I told you so guy. I'm not an asshole, I told you so guy. I'm just a simple pat you on the shoulder and say, told you so. That's it. And I just leave it there. I don't have to go into deep. Before I let you roll, just give me your idea. I thought the story I'm about to ask you about, I thought was huge. I thought it was big for sports. I thought there was a lesson to be learned on a lot of different fronts. And because I lived in Bristol and I know his family and I know people in Bristol and I know both sides of people who couldn't stand him and then people who adored and loved him. To me, it was just really a sad ending and a complete sad sports story. But just your thoughts on the entire Aaron Hernandez story.
Aaron Hernandez is very sad because you know what? This guy lost his father. After he lost his father, his life turned around. He didn't have a male role model. And like the thing is that oh, it's the football coach. It's not, man. It's not, dude. Urban Meyer was supposedly his father figure. If it was his father figure, this guy would have never gotten so much trouble in Florida. You know, he started getting in trouble in Florida. You know, he started getting in trouble. Plus, his brother didn't go to the college in Connecticut. That's why he did commit it. He did commit it from UConn and go to Florida. He did it in the middle of the night without anybody knowing. He flew out. Yes. He flew out in the middle of the night without anybody knowing. Went and signed with Florida. Play with his brother. It's just some people that need a support system, and he needed a support system, and he doesn't have it. He didn't have it, and he went astray. You know, he went astray. You know, he was in a gang ride. He had all these warning signs, but nobody came up to him and said, "Hey, are you okay? What's wrong with you?" And just like anything, like if there's warning signs and you don't, everybody's at fault that crosses line for this to happen to him because he was on a straight and narrow. Everybody that has known him said he was a great guy. You know, even the Pompey twins are still backing him up. You know, if this guy was such a monster, why would people even back him up? You know, so that's what I'm saying. So to me, he was led astray, and that's why I think he did what he did. Yes, I do agree. He has to take, you know, it's his actions, but he was not the only one that pulled that trigger. society and everybody who has felt him assisted him in pulling that trigger. And that's why I think this happened. And now he took himself out. He took himself out because he knew he had nowhere else to go, and he did not want to spend his life in jail. And to me, it's very sad that this guy who's a great tight end, I think he was going to be becoming a great tight end, for the Patriots, and a lot of people turned their back on him.
I agree with I did about an hour and a half show last week about it, and because, like I said, I've lived in Bristol. My fiance works for the Mouse. I've seen him come in my gym. I used to run the LA Fitness there. He used to come shoot ball, sports bars. I saw people just light up when he came around. I saw people just like old, young, white, black, male, female, didn't matter. He would walk in, but then I did see people who would roll their eyes and grumble when he walked in. I saw both sides of it, and I think because of the way the whole murder thing shaked out, and very arrogantly the way he acted towards the police, slamming the door in their face when they first went to his house, throwing his card at him, saying, call my lawyer. I mean, there was so much that, and we're such in a judgmental society. Everybody lives in a glass house. Nobody makes any mistakes. Nobody's a bad person. But, I know plenty of men who cheat on their wives, but they'll sit and have a discussion on how bad it is when it's in public. But it's like, but you do it. Like we live in that society. And I am not condoning anything that man did, but I agree with you. I believe when things like this happen, society fails people. Society failed OJ. Society told OJ that he was above the law and that he wasn't black and that he can hang with the white people and he can beat the shit out of his wife and then eventually murder her and then get off on it. Like, that's a societal thing. That's him too, because he's doing it. But as society, we only want people to suffer that we don't like. And I'm just not that guy. I hate that type of talk. And as I said on my show last week, I get why people are saying good riddance. Part of me says you got what you deserved. Because you are out killing people. He shot his friend in the face and pushed him out of a car on the side of a Florida highway thinking that he was dead. And the guy wasn't dead. Like, those stories, you have to take some type of responsibility at some point. But I just thought it was a sad lesson and a sad story that when people around you get money, if you really care about them, you need to be harder on them. You need to say no to them. And if they don't like it, then damn it, just don't let them like it. But don't let them go down a road because the money and the women and the jewelry and the clothes and the travel and the big house, all that material shit blinds us. So I thought, I agree with you. It's both sides, man. He was wrong, but at the same time, there was a lot that went down in that man. And I know a friend who was actually they had a private funeral. He wasn't at the funeral, but the town put together something at a local park. And he posted pictures on Instagram, and he called him Chico. He never called him Aaron to me. He always knew him as Chico.
Because they all knew him. They all knew who he really was. Yeah. It wasn't really him who was out there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. After his father died, because I read a story after his father died.
Yeah, I was living there.
And then he had nobody there. He had nobody there to help him out. He probably made the mistake by going all the way to Florida, but he probably wanted to get away because his dad died. He didn't want to be around that area. But then all of a sudden, it's failures all around, man. Like people should look at themselves in the mirror and say, the same people that are talking smack and say, could I have done something different in this guy's life? Just like when everybody goes astray, you're like, can I have done something different in this guy's life? I'm not saying I'm not condoning what he did. Of course I'm not. I'm just saying like he's resting in peace. Leave him alone. It's over. I know he killed somebody. He knows he killed somebody. God knows he killed somebody. God will testify. He'll testify in front of God, and that's it, man. It's over for him. Just let the guy rest in peace. That's it.
I totally agree with you, man, and I love the way you said that. I feel the exact same way. He's the one that's got to deal with his maker at the pearly gates, not us, man. Hey, yo, Raul, I appreciate it, man. This was fun. Let's do it again, bro.
Yeah, VJ, whenever you want. Hey, can I throw some shout-outs, man?
No, you can do whatever, bro. Matter of fact, I wasn't done. I wasn't about to hang up on you. I normally tell everybody where they can catch you. Let everybody know what you. Let my listeners and all your people who may be listening, let them know what you're doing, man, and where you at, where they can find you.
You can catch me on Instagram under Raul Reyes. You can also catch me on Facebook under Raul Reyes Comedian. I'll be at the Ice House this Saturday performing at the 7:30 show. So if you want to go check it out. I got some more projects coming up. I got some more stuff. We're part of the VJs that we're going to do a few things. Thank you, DJ, for allowing me to, I love sports, man, and I am a sports junkie. So whenever you want me to come on, I'll be more than happy to come on.
We get you on once a week, baby, and thank you. And like I said, and I want my listeners to hear this, and my people and your people. I did this when you told me this, dog, because you guys are showing me love, man. You know how this comedy game is out here. When I'm telling you guys, I'm not shooting shit at y'all, man. I'm a humble bro, dude. You see me show up, I'll work. I'll work my way up. I'll do what I got to do. And I got other clubs out here, other promoters trying to play me or trying to use me or trying to fuck me over. And you guys are the only ones so far that's actually interested in me being a better comedian. And I respect that shit. It's not just, oh, where's your people? It's like, no, work on, like Jack told me, I love the impressions, man. Keep working that door to joke. When I hear that lets me know you guys want to put on good shows. And I love doing shows there. I live 10 minutes from your club, man. So that's why I brought you on, because you guys are looking out for me. I'm all about networking, dog. We all can't nobody get it all themselves. We got to share it, man. So we might as well share it on every level. And I appreciate what y'all are doing for me at the club, man. Seriously.
Yeah, man. And like I said, I'll be on every week. No problem, man. And, I appreciate the time, and then, keep on grinding, DJ. You got a good thing, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Raul. Enjoy your day, bro.
All right, bye.
My man Raul Reyes from the Ha Ha Comedy Club in North Hollywood. Good stuff. My man Louis Estrada. Hey, Louis, if you're not doing that, call in. I miss you, bro. I want to talk to you. I really do. I have not talked sports with Louis Estrada in, it's been maybe 2 months. He just picked up a full-time gig over at Spectrum, big timing over there, at Spectrum Television Network, covering the Lakers, covering the Dodgers, doing all that good stuff. We went to a game, sat up in the box. We went to the game, the Clipper-Cavs game, where LeBron, Kyrie, and Love all sat down and missed the damn game. We were at that game. I was pissed. We ended up talking about his family, his daughter, and other stuff. I don't even think we watched the game. One team, I believe the Clippers or the Cavs, had 33 points in the third quarter, 40 points, something like that. Horrible. But if you got a chance, Luis, I'm not sure where you at and what you're doing, brother, but if you can, give a call in, man, and we'll throw some topics around, man. I want to get to the NFL draft. Take a quick break. When we come back, we will do exactly that. I want to talk NFL. Listen, Marshawn signs with the Raiders. You got Marshawn that signs with the Raiders. And then you have Adrian Peterson sign with the Saints. Only the NFL can hijack the NBA playoffs. Like, think about that. We're supposed to be talking about the Warriors and LeBron and Harden and in the NFL. I'm watching all the TV. I'm listening to the radio. Everybody's talking, what can Adrian Peterson do? Where's Myles Garrett going to go? What is Warren Sapp saying? What about Cleveland at number 1? Mitch Trubisky. You got my man Jabril Peppers smoking trees with a diluted set. And that's what it was, guys. It wasn't steroids or enhancement, nothing like that. He was probably puffing some trees. Most people are going to say, stupid decision. It is what it is. Legalize the stuff, and then we don't have to worry about who's smoking trees, man. What they need to do is stop people from drinking and driving. Try that first. But right now, I got a call coming in. The Lord says, ask and you shall receive. Oh, the heavens of the sports talk have opened up, and I got my man Louis Estrada in the building. What's going on, Big L?
Hey, what's going on, VJ? How you doing, brother?
You know me, man. Just back in the grind. I missed the show. I've been doing so much comedy, and I'm acting in this play, and I just had to get on wax, man. We got the draft tomorrow, the Marshawn story, Adrian Peterson with the Saints. You got the Browns with number 1, Myles Garrett. People love him. People don't like him. Warren Sapp's weighing in. Chris Carter's weighing in. So much stuff going on right now in sports, man. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get on, talk about the draft. Then the draft is tomorrow. Russ Westbrook has 34 shots, hits 15 of them, 47 points. They lose, of course. It's all his fault. I guess he's the only superstar playing by himself who's supposed to win in the NBA. I guess the 47 wins in the regular season meant nothing in the Western Conference. So it's just what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of throw it to you, and then we'll just spin it wherever you want to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother. I've been listening to it today, and I was listening last week when you talked to Eric Hernandez, and I got to commend you, bro. A lot of what you said, a lot of people don't think about, and that's one of the things I love about doing shows with you and listening to you, just when you're there, because you like to touch on topics that a lot of people won't talk about, and you come at it from a different perspective. So I want to, commend you for that.
Thank you.
Because I thought the Aaron Hernandez show was fantastic. I listened to it from beginning to end, and I didn't want to call in because you were going so good on it. So I wanted to start by commending you with that as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I
try, man. I try. My thing, Luis, is when you're a guy like me, man, I have self-awareness. I always talk about it with my kids. I talk about it with my fiance. I have self-awareness. I know I have effed up in life. I know I've never killed nobody or anything like that. I understand that people make mistakes, and some mistakes are bigger than the other. I still feel death is the ultimate sin. When you kill somebody, murder, it's the ultimate sin, taking another life, because you can't give a life, so why are you taking one? That's God's job to take lives, or just whatever people listening believe in. But being that I lived in Bristol and I saw both sides of it, I just think that needs to be reported and talked about, because yes, the guy was an idiot. Yes, the guy was vicious and a psychopath and killing people and playing God and playing, but he's no different than any other gang member and thug with a gun and with a lot of money out here. There's a lot of guys that they may not just play in the NFL, but there's hundreds of thousands of men that are doing it like him. And we praise Al Capone, who did the same thing. We praise John Gotti, who's my favorite gangster, who did the same thing. We love Goodfellas. We love Scarface. We praise this stuff. But when it hits reality and it hits something that we can judge it on, is when I just think it's only fair to report that man does have a daughter. He did have a fiance. He has a mother. He has a brother. He has people who loved and care. I bet you Jeffrey Dahmer had somebody that liked him. The Columbine kids, they had somebody that liked them. The Virginia Tech shooter had somebody that liked them. I just think when people murder, you let God handle that. Yes, you can talk about how terrible it is, but just remember that there are a lot of people involved, not just that individual. And then the victim's family too. Odin Lloyd's family doesn't feel better today. They still don't have Odin Lloyd. So good riddance and all of that stuff. Shit, there might have been somebody who didn't like Odin Lloyd who might have said, oh, well, got what he deserved. Good riddance. Shouldn't have been running his mouth. That's the street world. There are plenty of people, I guarantee you, that said, well, shouldn't have been running his mouth. But damn, man, you're not thinking about his girlfriend, his mom, his sister? Like, come on. So I believe Aaron deserves the same respect. That's all.
No, absolutely. And you know, I'll tell you, I'll just take it a step further here. When you start talking about someone that has killed somebody, whether you did it on purpose or not, how many times have people been killed by a drunk driver?
Yeah.
How many people have been killed by, ODing on pain medication or on, have died from accidental overdoses at parties and stuff like that? And I've heard this. I kid you not, VJ. I heard this at a party one time. There was an E party. I did not attend because they said you have to do E, and I'll tell you right now, this is my own thing. I've never done a drug in my life. I will never do a drug in my life. It's just my own thing. If you want to do it, someone else wants to do it, hey, more power to you.
Knock yourself out.
No sweat. Right. It's no sweat off my back. Just respect the fact that I don't. And as long as we're cool. No worries. No, you handle your business, I'll handle mine. But they decided they wanted to have this party, and everybody had to do it. So I said, you know what? I'm not going. So you go have fun, enjoy it. So come the next day, I find out that they had to call an ambulance because a guy basically OD'd. He had too much to drink and he had too much to eat. They had to pump his stomach. The dude almost died. And what was the response? You would think that would have shaken some people up, right? Here's this kid. And I say kid because he was 17, 18 years old. And most of the people at this party were 21, 22 or younger. Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking maybe that woke him up a little bit. No, you know what they said? That just means, damn it, we can't do E and beer at the same time. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my language. But that was my response because one of your boys almost OD'd at your party, and that's what you walk away with. To me, that was just pure stupidity, in my opinion. But see, here's the difference between what Aaron Hernandez did and what could have happened at that party is intent. That's the only difference. The absolute only difference. If that kid had died, it would have been the guy who threw the party would have been responsible.
Yep.
He would have had to deal with that. Anyone that's ever killed somebody as a drunk driver or in a car accident, The only difference between your action and what Aaron Hernandez did is intent. That's it. Because you still have to live with the fact you killed someone. That's it. And like you said, it doesn't bring, once you're gone, it doesn't bring that person back. It doesn't bring back somebody's brother or sister or mother or father or brother or husband or boyfriend or whatever. That other person's still gone. So like we did a show together pretty recently, VJ, on when Jose Fernandez passed away.
Yeah.
And people were talking. The very first thing, well, was he drunk?
Yep.
Well, I want to see that toxicology report. And I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming because we go to that first thing. And to me, it doesn't matter because that person's still gone.
Exactly.
That person is still not coming back. And then we found out that Jose Fernandez had, his girlfriend was just told him she was pregnant. And then we come to find out later on that he had cocaine and alcohol in his system. So yeah, I look like the moron saying, we're trying to defend the guy, but at the same time, we're in a society now where the directive is, if someone passes away young, or perceived to be early, what is it that hit it? And we tend to do it more with sports figures. When it comes to a professional athlete, a professional wrestler, me with the professional wrestling, that's always the first narrative. That's always the first. Well, he must have been doing steroids for this long. He must have been doing this. She must have been doing that. That's always the first narrative. But and to take it a step further, they're always looked down upon for it. I thought, it's kind of like that whole shame. I know your name kind of thing, finger pointing going on. But when it's a musician, when it's an actor or an actress who ODs on coke, who ODs on alcohol poisoning, who ODs on heroin, we feel bad for them. We feel sorry for them. You got people who are crying because, the fans that are crying because that person is now gone. But when it comes out, they died because of some drug addiction. They kind of overlook it. They kind of sweep it under the rug. And then you go out to the Grammys, or you go out to, the MTV Movie Awards, or you go to, another award show, and they do the memoriam. And they've got them up there, and everyone's celebrating these lives, forgetting the fact that these people had serious addictions. So it's almost like you don't want to talk about it. Well, I'll be down because I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I will absolutely call them out on it. I will absolutely say something about it because to me, it's sad when somebody, I don't care who it is, okay, because that person meant somebody to someone. Whether you want to accept that or not, whether they meant something to you or not, that person still meant something to somebody else. Okay, just because, we as people may not see it, just because we might be mad at the person, guess what? That still was somebody's relative.
Absolutely.
That was
I agree. I totally 100% agree with you. NFL draft, Marshawn, Adrian Peterson. Where you want to go?
I'll tell you, I agree with you. Marshawn going to Oakland is huge. And it absolutely flips the AFC on its head. Because to me, the Raiders got an upgrade at running back. Now you've got, two really good receivers on the offensive side of the football. Now you've got beast mode back there who's just going to crush it. Latavius Murray, really good finesse running back. But Marshawn Lynch is literally a beast. There's a reason we call him beast
He's going to
mode.
slam into the line. He doesn't dance.
Exactly. And he's going to knock you out and run you over. And he's healthy. He's been rested for a year. He looks like he's in great shape from everything, all the footage that I've seen of him the last couple of days. He looks to be in great shape. He's got his health back. He's got a year of rest on those legs. Guess what's going to happen come September? He's going to be plowing. You're going to be able to run a legitimate play action pass with that Raider offense. You can flip it out to Marshawn. He's an okay receiver, but he's not a great receiver, but he's good enough where you have to account for him. You've got Amari Cooper on one side, you've got Michael Crabtree on the other, and you've got a healthy Derek Carr coming back. Yeah, that offense is going to be even scarier than it was last year. My biggest concern with the Raiders is still the secondary. I still think that they need to upgrade there, and I think they're on a collision course with New England. I thought they were on one destined for one last year until Derek Carr got hurt. But if they stay healthy, I think it comes down to them in New England and the AFC, with no doubt about it, in my opinion. I just think the Raiders are too good offensively. I like their defense. I love Khalil Mack on the end. If they can shore up that secondary just a little bit, I'll tell you what, I think the AFC is theirs for the taking.
The division is them and the Chiefs, and the league has put a lot of stock into the Chiefs this year. They have 8 national and primetime games this year. They like them a lot. I'm not sure why, but they like them a lot. They still have Alex Smith at quarterback, and I'm not a bang on Alex Smith guy. I'm what do you want the guy to do? The defense gives up points in games too. It's not just always him. It's a team effort in the NFL. He's not going out and doing like Romo had done in playoff games and last games of the season to get to the playoffs and throw the pick in the fourth quarter. And I haven't seen Alex Smith do that. So I think he wouldn't be my guy, but I just think that he gets banged on a lot. Also, too, sidebar, I saw in someone's mock draft, they have Kansas City taking Deshaun Watson late in the first round with that pick. I believe it's 25, 24, somewhere in that area, maybe 26, but they haven't taken Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure why. I have no idea how he falls that far. You have Cleveland at number 1, San Fran at number 2. They both need a quarterback, especially with San Fran. Now, I will say this, and I said this earlier on the show, San Fran is sitting in this situation, and my boy Dwayne Davis just joined the show in the chat room, big Philadelphia fan. I told him this last year, and I didn't debate, and I think I said this to you also, I didn't debate the Carson Wentz pick. I'm just more on get pass rushers, get guys that can cover first, and you will find there's a quarterback in every draft. If you look at the last 10 drafts, there's at least one quarterback who has been successful in the NFL. They still have a starting job. They're the leader of their team. Now, it's a crapshoot because you don't know who it's going to be, but you can't tell me there just isn't going to be a quarterback to come later that you can go get. I thought they should have taken Jalen Ramsey with that number 2 pick. And I think the Niners are sitting in the exact same spot. You do need a quarterback, but you're going to need a safety or a corner on that team to help that defense get back to what it was, especially playing in the division and then playing in the NFC. You're in the NFC, so you might have to play Dallas. They have receivers. You might have to play the Giants. They have receivers. You might have to play Aaron Rodgers. In the NFC, they have receivers, and they have Aaron Rodgers. The Saints, NFC. Cam Newton, NFC. Yep. Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, NFC. So it's not just the Cardinals. I think people look at the damn division too much. It's not just the Cardinals. It's just not Seattle. It's just not the Rams. You're in the NFC. You're probably going to have to play another high-octane offense, and it could be in November. It could be in December when you're going to need to stop a passing game. And I just believe that when you have guys sitting right there for you, and I think there are a few in the draft with that number 2 pick, that's where I think I would go if I were the San Francisco 49ers. If at number 1, let's just start at number 1. Do you take Myles Garrett or not? If you're Cleveland,
you have to. There's no choice. If you're Cleveland, you cannot afford to mess this up. Garrett is a game changer for that defense. He's going to bring so much for you on that defensive side of the football, and you need to stop people. I know you need a quarterback. I know you need a lot of stuff right now, but you got to have a foundation. If you look at the teams, look at the Baltimore Ravens. What did they win with? They won with defense. Trent Dilfer was not an all-pro quarterback by any stretch of the imagination.
Sorry to interrupt you, just quick sidebar. He got fired by ESPN today. He was part of that layoff.
Yeah, I saw that today, too. But he was not an all-pro quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but he was a good enough quarterback. You mentioned Alex Smith. Alex Smith, to me, is almost not an exact replica of Trent Dilfer. I think he's got a little more game than Trent Dilfer does, but he's the same caliber of quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. He doesn't make mistakes. So you don't have to have the Big Ben. You don't have to have the Tom Brady's. You can have a Joe Flacco if you have a solid defense, and that's what Kansas City is built on. So I think if you're Cleveland, you can absolutely start there. Cleveland has absolutely no identity, none. And I know what's his name, Hugh Jackson. He's a great coach. I really like him. He's going to develop a quarterback. But right now, you need so much. It's kind of like when you're trying to field the team, and it's like, okay, you got a hole here, here, here. Damn, where are you going to go? Because you really need an upgrade almost everywhere. If I'm Cleveland, you go with the best player on the board, and that's Myles Garrett.
Yeah, if I'm Cleveland, and this is going to be real where if I'm Cleveland, I trade out. I'm listening to Warren Sapp, man. And I said the same thing about Javanian Clowney. There's a show. If you go through my archive here, there is a Told You So Tuesday show. I used to do this thing on Tuesday called Told You So Tuesday about Javanian Clowney because I said when he was coming out of college, and I'm a Michigan fan, so of course most people thought it was the hit on our running back that I did. I said, guys, listen, I don't care about that hit. ESPN messed up by reverbing it over and over and over and over and over. And that's all everybody saw for like 2 months going into the draft. But I watched that bowl game. Taylor Lewan, who's an all-pro tackle, left tackle for the Tennessee Titans right now, he manhandled Javanian Clowney all game long. And that was a play because he had made a play before, and there was a penalty, so the play got taken away. And he kind of got that pissed look in his face. He was going off on the field. And that's the following play where he makes the hit, causes the fumble, recovers. A great play. But you cannot draft the guy on one play. When I watch Myles Garrett play, I'm kind of with Warren Sapp. I watch a ton of college football. You notice there are games where he does just disappear. And we didn't see that with Ndamukong Suh. And Ndamukong Suh never disappeared at Nebraska. He was a Heisman finalist. Von Miller never disappeared at Texas A&M. There's defensive players in college, especially on the line, they never disappear. And when they come to the league, J.J. Watt at Wisconsin, I'm a Michigan guy. I watched a lot of J.J. Watt. And when he was playing and they were talking about him coming out early, I said, yeah, that guy can go early. Because every Wisconsin game I watch, just about every defensive play, his number is being called. There's no plays where you just go, or a string of plays where you just go, damn, where's JJ at today? Like, Minnesota's moving the ball, or Michigan State's moving. No, he's in almost every damn play, and it translates to the league. If I'm then, I trade down and I flirt with teams that would be greedy to jump and make a blockbuster move like Dallas. You can't tell me that if Cleveland picked up the phone and they said, hey, Dallas, listen, you want to trade first-round picks, and then we want your second. Jerry Jones is like, what? I get the pick of the then I think of Myles Garrett to maybe Dallas, where you have an offense that's high octane. You have other defensive players that are there that can help him mold. Maybe a team like that, maybe even like Jacksonville jumps up. Maybe San Francisco switches. They just flop-swap. They just switch. They flip-flop. San Francisco. I just don't think if you're Cleveland, you can gamble on Myles Garrett because you just really have nothing else there. And if he doesn't work out, your franchise is just, I mean, it's destroyed anyway. But damn, why would you just make it worse and worse?
Oh, absolutely. No, if you can absolutely trade out and get multiple picks, you absolutely do that if you're Cleveland. Because you absolutely, like I said, you have holes everywhere. And the only way you're going to be able to really fill those holes is draft picks, because let's be real, no free agent is really going to go to Cleveland, okay? There's going to be a couple, you're going to throw out some money, and someone's going to take it. You're going to overpay for somebody. They brought in Kenny Britt, and guess what? Kenny Britt is an overrated receiver.
You don't like Kenny Britt at all.
No, I don't. Because you know what? Here's the problem. The guy can get no separation, and I know he was playing for a bad Rams team this past year. I get it, and he was their only real outside kind of threat. Okay, but he has. You see in the receivers, you see in the NFL, guys that just have it. You have guys that have that it factor, that have that desire, that heart, and I didn't see that with Kenny Britt at all. You know, I get you were being double teamed because you were labeled their one big guy, but guess what? You couldn't do anything when it was just you. Now he's in Cleveland where the Rams have a bad enough quarterback with Jared Goff. Who's Cleveland's quarterback? They don't have one. They were running out the guy from USC for a while. The name is I'm drawing a blank on the Brad Kessler. He was their quarterback for a while, starting quarterback for a while. He was a rookie last year. So it's like Cleveland really has no direction. So you're leaving a Rams team to go to Cleveland that is in a worse position than the Rams are. Yeah, you took the money, but you're not going to get any better over there. Trust me. So I don't. Cleveland has a lot of holes. So if you can trade out of there, absolutely trade out of there. Get multiple picks. Fill those holes that you're going to need. We saw the New England Patriots have built an empire on second and third round picks. Belichick stockpiles these picks. Every once in a while, he'll package one or two together, get back in that late first round and grab a guy. But most of the time, he's built it with second and third round picks. Cleveland, if you're smart, you can do that if you can find someone willing to give you enough for that number one pick. And there might be a couple of teams that do that this year. But if you have to take somebody, I don't think you can go anywhere else. I think you have to start with Myles Garrett.
You don't like them moving back and maybe looking for a quarter. I mean, they have no quarterback. When I look at the draft, and I just pulled the order right now. We've talked Cleveland, we talked San Francisco, but you are talking Chicago. There's Jacksonville at number 4, Tennessee number 5, the Jets, and I actually saw one mock draft that had Deshaun Watson going at number 6 to the Jets. And I like that because they have to rebuild there. He's the kind of guy I think can handle the big city. He can handle the press. He can handle the media. He's got a guy like Cam Newton who's mentoring him. You have a black head coach in Todd Bowles, black quarterback, black head coach. That could be a really cool dynamic. It worked for him. I mean, I hate to pull the color card here, but sometimes black men understand black men. And when you got a guy like that, a head coach in Todd Bowles, and you bring in a young black quarterback, that can really help Deshaun get really adjusted to the league. You also have the Chargers at 7, Panthers at 8, and round out the top 10, the Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. I like I said, if I'm Cleveland, you could call any of those teams and swap and move and move back and just say, man, listen, if you get like think about Tennessee, top 5 defense already. Built to stop the run, built to run the football. You don't mean to tell me they don't want to jump up 4 spots and add a Myles Garrett? I think with a team like that, he'll be fine. But what Warren Sapp is saying, and I agree with him, he's making a criticism based off what he sees, but also based off of where he's about to go. Because if you disappear in college, what's going to happen when you're chasing Le'Veon Bell twice a year, Joe Flacco twice a year, trying to get the Andy Dalton who's throwing to A.J. Green twice a year? And then once again, the AFC. You might have to play New England. You might have to play the Raiders. You might have to play the Chiefs. Those are top flight AFC teams. And if you're not prepared, if Myles Garrett's your guy, I just think that I'm not sure about that pick, man. Anything else in the first round? You're a Rams fan. What do you like? You guys don't have one. Oh, dang.
We don't have one. The Rams are in trouble.
Oh, wow.
The Rams are in a lot of trouble. Okay, because they don't pick till number 37. So unless they get a trade somehow tomorrow into the first round, then the first pick isn't until Friday. And the Rams need so much help, it's ridiculous. They lost, and again, I'm not a big Kenny Britt guy, but he was like your one big receiver. You also lost your number 2 receiver in Brian Quick. He went to Washington. So you lost your top 2 receivers, and who'd you sign? You signed Robert Woods. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You're going to go into the season as of right now with Robert Woods as your number 1 receiver, Farrell Cooper and Tavon Austin as your 2s and 3s. Man, you're just asking for trouble. Now, I like what they've done with the offensive line. The guy, Adam Whitlock, I believe is his name, the guy from Cincinnati. He's going to be the left tackle. That's an upgrade over on the line. I like that. I like them bringing in Wade Phillips. I think Wade Phillips is going to – the Rams have a decent defense. He's going to make them better. He's going to make Aaron Donald and Alec Ogletree a lot better. There's still some concern on the backside of on the secondary, but I like the idea of Wade Phillips kind of molding that defense together. But Sean McVay's got his work cut out for him offensively. Todd Gurley's a good back, and he looked like garbage last year because you had nothing around him. Now you really have nothing. You have even less around him than you did last year. And you don't pick until 37. Les Snead has got to pull a rabbit out of his hat and do it quickly. Remember, VJ, when I told you last year when we were talking about this time, about the Rams coming back to L.A., and I said, they're going to have a honeymoon period. They had that honeymoon period last year. But by the end of the year, you already saw the fans kind of getting itchy. Yeah. You saw the Rams fans kind of like, okay, this is not what we expected. This is not what's going to sell out, here in L.A. And when you're playing at 100,000 seats stadium like the L.A. Coliseum, if you want to have full people, a whole bunch of people there, get a full stadium, you're going to have to produce better on the field. And they didn't do it last year. And I think they're actually worse off as of this moment today than they were when they ended the season, which is a bad sign for the LA Rams coming forward here this year. There's already talk. I was driving around yesterday. There was a reputable sports station talking openly about the idea of replacing Jared Goff with Sean Mannion already. Are you kidding me? Sean Mannion's worse than Jared Goff. I have been very much against Jared Goff. I didn't think he was going to be the next guy. I thought they should have gotten Brett Hundley out of UCLA
you didn't like Goff. You didn't like Goff at all. You said that last. You were not high on Goff at all.
No, not at all. And I'm still not. He hasn't shown me anything. Now, maybe Sean McVay is going to be able to pull, do something with them. We'll have to wait and see. But I do know this. You need talent in the NFL. Yeah, you have to have a good scheme, but you got to have talent. And the Rams don't have enough talent on the offensive side of the football right now to have any kind of growth. Because all you're going to see is exactly what you saw last year. 8, 9 people in the box, and they're going to cover your wideouts one-on-one and say, we dare you to throw it on us. And you're not going to be able to do it. Not with what you have right now.
What do you think about the kid Patrick Mahomes? As a quarterback that could sleep, I see in some mock drafts, I see people taking Texas Tech kid. I saw some people saying 13 to the Cardinals, get your successor for Carson Palmer. But maybe what about a quarterback like that slides? If you're basically, I guess what I'm asking, if you're the Rams and somebody slides to you, or you could swindle a trade to at least get into the top 30. Do you go after another quarterback, or do you try to address maybe receiver?
I think you're going to go receiver, because I honestly think that they're high on Jared Goff. I think that they're high on the idea of McVay coming in and maybe.
It doesn't sound like they're high. It doesn't sound like they're high on Jared Goff, man. I hear the same stuff you hear. You hear a little more because you're closer to it, but it doesn't sound like they're high on him, really.
Well, it doesn't, but you're not going to sit. I don't think they're going to in a position where they're going to say already after 1 year, yeah, we made a mistake. I don't think they're going to do that. So I think if they were able to trade up and get into that first round, I think you're looking receiver. I think that's a big area of need, and I still think the offensive line and that secondary. Those are the 3 areas of need I really feel for them right now. If they were able to get inside that top 5 somehow, I don't ask me how, but if they were somehow to get in a position to take Deshaun Watson, I'm taking Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And to me, that there's no doubt about it. The fact that some people have him slipping out of the first round is absolutely ridiculous. The guy can flat out play football. He's got a good arm. He scrambles and he makes really good decisions with the football. The fact that people are talking about him, possibly out of the first round just blows my mind. Mitchell Trubisky, he may have the intangibles. He may look good on paper. You know who else looked good on paper that didn't really do very well in college and have a good team around him? Yeah, his name was Jay Cutler. Let's see how that panned it out for a bunch of teams that had him there. Okay? Carson Wentz was another one, came out of a lower division school. People are real high on him. Yeah, he started out really good. People are like, wow, he might end up being the real deal. And then he had some flashes here or there, but you could tell he still has a long way to go. Okay,
he's got a long, but I will say, I like Carson. I really do. I like him a lot. And now, and Philly did great in the offseason. They went after receivers, man. They went and gave him targets. So you can't hate a franchise that says, okay, we got a quarterback. People are questioning him. We believe in him, but we got to get him some help. So we're gonna go sign Alshon Jeffrey, and who else? They got 2. They signed 2. Jeffrey and who? Help me out.
Oh, gosh. Let me look it up real quick because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Dwayne Davis is listening to my boy from Woodbridge, Dumfries, Virginia, big Eagle fan. Dwayne, type it in the chat room if you can. They got Alshon Jeffrey and they signed 2 guys. They gave him 2.
Yeah, they did.
And it won't. And I see them going running back with that 14th pick. And some people think Christian McCaffrey flies down there. Christian McCaffrey could slide there to them there. I like Christian McCaffrey at number 8 to the Panthers, but the smart pick because of their ground and pound power game is Leonard Fournette, and I think you just have to go. But God, when I watch McCaffrey, man, The kid can just do everything. There's nothing that McCaffrey can't do. He does everything well. And I just love, and you still have Sproles. So you have now 2 super quick guys out in the flats, in the seam, crossing across the middle, button hook routes. I mean, there's just so much you can do. If he slides there, who's the other guy?
Torrey Smith.
There it is. Yeah, Dwayne got me. There you go, Dwayne. And you know what? I like that move. A lot of people will look at San Fran and go, he didn't do nothing to San Fran. Well, not a lot of people did anything in San Fran once the Yorks decided Harbaugh wasn't their guy. Smart move there, Yorks. He's doing just fine up in Michigan. But the minute they thought that he wasn't their guy is when everything turned around. You bring Torrey in and see, there's something you just can't coach in the NFL. It's called speed. You can't coach it. That's why Deshaun Jackson is going to light the league on fire in Tampa this year. They really, especially if Tampa decides to use the first round pick on a running back. Dalvin Cook slides right to him out of Florida State. He stays in state. He stays home. You give, and they said, and they're bringing back Muscle Hamster. They're bringing him back, so he doesn't have to carry the load right away. But you're giving him to Jameis. You got 2 big receivers. You got a young bud Pro Bowl tight end. Man, you're adding Deshaun to that, who could just flat out run up the field. And all Jameis has to do is take a 4-step drop, wait 1 second, and just throw it as far as you possibly can. He'll go get the football. And I think that's what Torrey Smith will be able to be for Carson Wentz. At times where they play action, you get Torrey one-on-one, safety cheats. You just can't coach speed, and he still has it.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, another landing spot for Deshaun Watson that would be smart if the organization drafts smart. And I don't think they will. But I'll tell you, another team that needs a guy, the Chargers. The Chargers absolutely need a guy. Why? Because Phillip Rivers did not want to come to L.A. That was documented. He said it over and over and over again. They were trying to work out a trade for him to Tennessee 2 years ago because they knew he didn't want to come to L.A. He was very vocal about it. Now that they're here, they're going to be playing in a 30,000 seat stadium in a town where nobody wants them. Nobody wants them here. So they're already up against the wall. They're not going to compete in that AFC West anytime soon. They need to rebuild. I like what they have in Melvin Gordon, but now you bring in a guy. If you're smart, you draft Deshaun Watson. Why? You have him study a year or 2 under Phillip Rivers, get used to here. Then 2019, when that new stadium opens up in Inglewood, he's your starting quarterback, and you've got
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. Bring him in, and you hold him to open the stadium. Changing of the guard, you think Phillip will be done? Okay, because I'm listening to you when you first say it, and I'm like, huh? Because you know me, I'm a Phillip guy. Phillip's my guy.
Yep.
So in my head, I'm like, huh? The Chargers? Let's jump to my team real quick, and I'm not going to make a pick. I'm going to let you do it so I don't sound like a homer. If you're the Dolphins, I've seen mock draft Taco Charlton, Michigan. I've seen Jabril Peppers, Michigan. But I'm just like you said, smart guy. Forrest Lamp, the big All-American swing offensive lineman from Western Kentucky. It fits. They need a guard. They're moving Tunsil to the tackle. You need a guard. If they get a guard, and if Pouncey can, damn it, stay healthy, you have a formidable offensive line, and we already know we have a 1,300-yard back and a 1,000-yard receiver. Could be 2, because we have that thing called speed again with Kenny Stills on the outside, who had about 800 receiving yards last year. Jarvis is going to get his grand. Like you said, if you're drafting smart, I know there's some sexy guys sitting there at 22, but I would not be mad that if the Western Kentucky offensive lineman swing guy who can play all 5 positions, big, fast, good hands. He had a great showing at the combine, strong, and there's some people think he's going to go early, so there's other GMs that like him. It isn't just me saying this as a homer. If you're smart, you go with the offensive lineman and shore that up, and then you can go ahead and fill in the other defensive players later in the draft. But where do you think, you watch enough of my Dolphins, where do you think Miami should go with that 22nd pick?
I think they go exactly where you said, offensive line. Because the key to everything you just said was if Pouncey can stay healthy. And that's a big if, because he hasn't stayed healthy his entire career.
Yeah.
He seems to be hurt almost every year. So it's
he was hurt in Florida.
Absolutely. So you can already almost count him to miss some games because of it. So you need to bring in a guy who can slide in behind Pouncey, who can slide in with, and be right next to Tunsil, or maybe on the opposite side of Tunsil and create some protection for you there. Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Yeah. But nobody can sit there and play quarterback if you're constantly running and on your back. Nobody. I don't care who you are. We saw that problem when Houston first started with David Carr. He was a good quarterback, but you couldn't. He got his confidence shaken. He got shaken because he was always on his back his first 2 years. He had been hit something like for 78 sacks in 2 years or something like that. It was something absolutely ridiculous because they had no offensive line.
Could you imagine, Louis, could you imagine, dog, being sacked 78 times in your first 32 games?
That's insane. It's absolutely insane. So it's just, you got to have a line in this league, and you got to have a backup to the backup in this league. You got to be able to slide guys in and out and not miss a beat. So if you're Miami, you absolutely go offensive line. To me, there's no other place to go. You've got a good running back. I like your quarterback. I like your receivers. You were talking earlier about Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh has been, for the most part, a pretty good citizen on the field since he got out of Detroit and into Miami. So I got no problem there. You've still got Mario Williams on the opposite side of him. You've got a good defensive front. You need to maybe shore up a little bit on the secondary. Okay, great.
Of course. Of course. They definitely need now. They did bring in Allen from the Raiders. McDonald on the defensive line helped shore it up. Still have Cameron Wake. I will say at the 22nd pick, though, I would not be mad at a linebacker. Kiko Alonso's fine, and I said he was going to be fine when we made the trade. He just, for some reason, he just didn't fit in Philly. But we've seen that with Nnamdi Asomugha. We've seen guys go to Philly for some reason on the defensive side of the ball, and it's like, who is that? That's not the guy we just saw playing with another team. But I would not be mad if one of these linebackers slides down in the first round and the Dolphins go linebacker. They definitely, or corner or safety.
Absolutely. I mean, those are areas of need, so you absolutely have to look at them. But if there's a lineman that can help you shore up that line, we've seen this with the Dallas Cowboys. The reason that Dak Prescott was able to slide in and be as good as he was last year, the reason Ezekiel Elliott was able to do as much as he could last year, yeah, they have talent. I'm not still trying to take that away from them. But that offensive line is quite possibly the best in the NFL. And if you've got time, if you've got protected, you've got a line created holes for you and doing their job, you're going to be doing very, very well come November and December in the NFL as teams get weary and tired from being on the grind of the NFL season. So if you've got a good line, you're going to be in a good way to go. And you're going to be able, even if something happens where Tannehill gets hurt and you have to bring in your backup, or if you have to bring in a different guy here and there, you're still going to be able to produce because your offensive line is that good. So I firmly believe, and we all know the cliche, winning and losing in the NFL starts in the trenches. So for me, you always got to have a great offensive line, especially if that's an area of need.
Where does Joe Mixon go in the draft?
Oh, my gosh. That's a tough, I could have seen him slipping out of the first round, maybe going to the second round to a team like the Saints. But now that they signed AP, he's got first-round talent. But the league is so scared of the PR hit that they're going to take. And they've been scared of the PR movement really ever since Michael Vick came back into the league, if not even before that.
Sorry to interrupt, but doesn't the NFL survive PR hits, man? Like, I hear this PR hit thing, but they survive and they keep striving. Am I wrong or do I just love the NFL too much?
No, you're not wrong. They seem to overcome it every single time. But it's they've taken so many, though, that even Goodell is starting to look at it. Goodell, and it's just... So the question becomes, which team is going to be that team willing to take a chance on him that's going to say, okay, I can do it, and I'm not going to worry about the PR hit. And that could afford to kind of take the PR hit, if you will. You know what I mean? So when I look at it like that, and I start thinking about the teams that could do it and could, withstand the PR hit, there's a couple. I would say the Steelers, but they have Le'Veon Bell. Now, the problem with Le'Veon Bell is he's always missing games as well.
Yeah,
He's
but
always hurt.
Le'Veon
He's
Bell already
suspended.
got baggage. He already got back. The Steelers can't take him.
Exactly. So you've got Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh. Green Bay, he would do well in Green Bay, but I don't think they're willing to take that hit. They're too much. They got too much of an image. I'll tell you where.
Not only that, he hit a white girl, and there ain't a lot of black people live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't like that one either.
Right. Well, I'll tell you the team that I think could take him, and even though they've said already he's not on their board, I'm saying New England. I'm thinking that if there's one team.
I knew you were about to say that shit.
Oh, I knew you did. But if there's one team that I think is ballsy enough to do it, and is ballsy enough to look at him and say, yeah, we took him, so what? It's Bill Belichick. Even though they've already said he's not on our board. I could see him going there. I could see him going quite possibly to Denver. They do need a running back. I'll tell you where if the one team I would tell you should stay away from him, not because he couldn't help them, but because their PR is already bad enough, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. I stay as far away from that as I possibly can.
You know what's so ironic that you say that? Because I'm looking at a mock draft right now. I'm not sure it's Reuter from NFL Network, and he has number 41, Cincinnati Bengals, running back Oklahoma, Joe Mixon. I swear, it's right in front of my face right now.
I could see it. He would help them. He's a good running back. But they have so many issues with their personnel already, especially on the defensive side of the football. I don't know that they're a team that you put Joe Mixon there with a Perfect, with a Pac-Man Jones. I don't see how you're going to be able to keep that team together from a functionality point. You know what I mean? I just that's got disaster written all over it if he goes there. But I'll tell you, I think I could have seen him in Oakland. I could have seen him with the Raiders. But now that they got Marshawn Lynch, they don't need him. Houston could use him. I think Houston could use him. I think Kansas City could use him. I think Green Bay could use him. I think the Giants could use him. But I don't know if any of them have the stones to do it.
The Giants need a running back, period. They need a running back.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've seen a few people have Dalvin Cook slide down to the Giants. I like Dalvin Cook. I think he's going to be a great running back in the NFL. He has all the tools. I guess there's some questions about him off the field or what have you, but you're not going to find many guys who don't have a question or two about him. Where does Jabril Peppers go?
See, I'll tell you what. Like I'm looking at, I have up on Yahoo.com. They have 3 drafts here all at once, 3 mock drafts. You've got one guy who says he's going to go to the Saints over at 32, which would be a good pickup for the Saints. I have another one saying that he's going to go to Houston, and I have another one saying that he's not even in the first round anymore. You know what? He can help a lot of teams. He's good in the secondary. He's got good hands. He's going to bring your defense up. There's a lot of teams that Green Bay could use him. Green Bay could absolutely use him. Atlanta could use him. Dallas could use him.
Wow, could you imagine him with his abilities and the way he can be moved around and do a lot of different things with Dan Quinn and already the young studs that he's put together in Atlanta?
Yeah, we thought, a lot of people thought Atlanta came out of nowhere last year. And the difference was they actually had a pretty good defense last year. You put in Peppers on that defensive side of the football, he's going to make him so much better. You're not going to have to worry about his side of the football at all. The guy's a beast. The guy's an absolute beast on the field. So, people are talking about this little hiccup he had at the combine. You know what? Everyone's got some kind of hiccup somewhere because some don't get out.
He smoked a little. I think it was he smoked a little weed. He took a cleanser, and when you take those cleansers, you have to drink a crazy crazy amount of water. Most people don't. If you never had to do it, it's like 2 gallons a day, and then it will dilute your pee. And if they see it's diluted, then they think you're trying to hide something. I don't even buy the story that he was sick and he had to, he was he was dehydrated. I don't buy that because I'm just real. Even though I love the guy, he's a Michigan alum, he's a Michigan player. I think he's probably puffing some trees.
Could be, and you know what? If that's what it is, it's legal in what, like 10 states now?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, if that's what it is, it's a nothing. You know what I mean? So he could help a lot of teams. He could help the Saints. He could help the Falcons. He could help Green Bay. He could help Dallas. He could help Seattle. Seattle needs help on that secondary, obviously Richard Sherman right now. And if they're serious about having trade discussions about him, yeah, you're going to need a guy like Jabril Peppers back there. So he can help a lot of teams, but I think he's going to end up either in Atlanta, Green Bay, or maybe even Pittsburgh.
I see a lot. I see a few of these picks too that have him going that late. I saw one publication had him with the Dolphins at 22. I like that pick not just because he's Jabril and he's from Michigan, but we need a nickel type guy. I actually like Xavier Howard, the rookie from last year, who started 14 games at corner. I actually like him, and I think he'll get better. Also, too, Lippett, who was a Big Ten Player of the Year as a receiver at Michigan State. They flipped him to corner, big, long, draws a lot of comparisons to Richard Sherman, because Richard Sherman was a former receiver until Harbaugh turned him around and told him he's going to play defensive back and be a corner. You put his locker right next to Rashad Jones, and you don't worry about him. You let Rashad, and that locker room is controlled by Jarvis Landry and Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake and Ryan Tannehill, and there's some veterans in that locker room that he can't be the star. You're gonna fit in. You're either gonna do it this way. So I like it for those reasons, but like I said, I just still like the offensive line picking you at some point. You have to find. Goodness great, Pouncey's. You have to find Mike Pouncey's replacement. I'm trying to think of any other names here. I know what I want to ask you. San Francisco sitting at number 2. I didn't get the answer from you. Quarterback, or do you try to help that defense out first?
You got to help the defense. Right now, a quarterback's not going to get you anything. See, that's kind of like with what you have in Cleveland. You don't have any pieces around them. You don't have anybody there. I'm sorry, Mitchell Trubisky, to me, is not a franchise quarterback. He could be a serviceable quarterback, but he's never going to be the quarterback. He's going to be one of what I like to call the transition quarterback. He'll get you some wins. He might even get you a playoff appearance or two when you get him enough pieces. But he's never going to be that guy who, when the game is on the line and you need a play, you're going to be able to rely on him and just say, hey, go get it. Okay? He's not going to be that guy. So the question becomes, do you think you can build around him? Because if you're picking number 2 and you're picking a quarterback, just like with number 1, he better be a guy you can build around. And to me, you can't build around Trubisky. Yeah, he's only come on since the combine. And like I said earlier, he might look great on paper. He might look great in a controlled environment. But the NFL is not a controlled environment. The NFL is anything but because you have your defensive backs coming at you. You've got your linemen coming at you. You've got the elements of where you're playing coming around you, the snow, the rain, the sleet, the wind, the heat. So Trubisky, he might be serviceable. But to me, this is kind of a down year for quarterbacks once you get past Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. So if I'm San Francisco, you have a lot of holes. You got to fill one of those other holes. Quarterback is not going to help you right now. It's just not. I made reference to David Carr earlier in the show. David Carr out of Fresno State was a good quarterback. But when you got nothing around him, you're going to get hit, your confidence gets shot, and then you're out of the league in 3 years. And that's what happened to David Carr. So if I'm San Francisco, I'm not even looking there. Plus, on top of that, I really do think that San Francisco is just holding out the year, and I think Kirk Cousins is a starting quarterback next year.
Absolutely. That's why I asked that. I just wanted to see if you would go there because that's why you don't take a quarterback at number 2. Jamal Adams out of LSU is the pick. Trust me on this. You go get that ball hawking coverage, support the run. He's big, he's fast, he's strong. He showed his natural ass at the combine. All the GMs love him. No question marks. Comes from LSU, which means he's played against Bama, played against Florida, played against Georgia, he's played against the toughest competition. Everybody loves the SEC, right? You just have to go there. I'm gonna wrap up here in a minute because I want to spend a little time with the Prince, with the Queen before she gets out of The Sports Type Batcave. Also, too, Dwayne Davis just jumped in and says they trade the pick for Kirk Cousins, and that's very viable because if you're the Redskins,
absolutely.
Because if you're the Redskins, because now see what has to happen down here, and you know what? I'm going to scratch that last question. We'll just end on this because now the Redskins have number 17. So, do you trade and swap picks? Because you don't want to just give up your first round pick because the Redskins are sitting at 17. So I guess they trade their second round pick, and the Redskins send their 17th pick. And Kirk Cousins, and then maybe you try to I don't know, maybe work with maybe the Saints probably to move back, maybe number 10 Buffalo to get back into the top 10 for maybe Allen out of maybe Allen. You get a defensive tackle out of Jordan Black out of Alabama. Maybe you jump up back in there and you try to steal McCaffrey, or you try to steal Leonard Fournette. Remember, they have an offensive-minded head coach there. What do you think about that move there? I like that, Dwayne. Good shout out, man. I like that one. I didn't think about that. What do you think about San Francisco trading the pick to Washington? But would Washington do it?
Well, I think Washington's in a position where they're practically rebuilding as it is. They've lost. They signed Brian Quick, okay, but their receiving core is not that good. If you believe what Kirk Cousins said, everything that's pointing to everything, he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be in San Francisco. You don't want to go into the season with a disgruntled quarterback. That's just going to be disaster.
At all.
And we all know how. No, and you know how I believe it's Dan Snyder over there. He does not like to be shown up by anybody. So I think it's just a matter of time before it's traded. Now, it could be that they make the pick for Washington and then trade it that way. So there is that possibility also. You maybe trade it. You swap picks with Frisco and you get Kirk Cousins, and that's maybe you throw in a fourth pick if you're fourth round pick or a third round pick if you're San Francisco, and that's the deal. Because when you're talking about jumping up, I mean, think about it. Last year, the Rams gave up last year's first round, this year's first round. A second round, like a third or a fourth round. They give up just a ton of stuff. So that's what the going rates for these are. But if you're getting a quality quarterback and Kirk Cousins back, you might be able to do it just for the pick and, for Kirk Cousins and swapping picks, and that'd be it in today's NFL. So I could absolutely see it happening.
Appreciate the love, man. I'm gonna wrap up the show, man. Spend a little time with the Queen before she heads off. I'm pushing 2.5 hours right now. Time for me to get off.
All right, brother. It was great to talk to you, man.
Listen, I'll be back on tomorrow. Let's talk draft again. No, matter of fact, I might wait till Friday morning so we can go over the first round of the draft.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll text you because let me find out what time my call time is on Friday.
Exactly.
The way my schedule is, I actually work Friday to Tuesday. I'm off Tuesday or Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, that's what's up, man. 2 back-to-back in the middle of the week, so you get to spend time with the little queen there and spend some time with wifey. That's good stuff, man.
Absolutely. No, I'm enjoying it. So far, so good, my brother.
And listen, congratulations to that, man. You and I have been talking on the side in private conversations. I know how bad you've been wanting this for your family. You know how I'm pushing out here for my family. 100%, man. No hater in my body, dog. Congratulations on getting that gig and do that shit. All I ask is just get a few more of them Skybox games in. That's it.
Trust me, as soon as I get them, you're the first call I get, baby.
No, I appreciate that, brother. One love, man.
More love, man. We'll talk soon.
Yo, dog. My man Louis Estrada, man, just got a permanent spot over on Spectrum. He's been working hard at it. He's been wanting to get that thing for a while, man. So I'm 100% very, very, very happy for him, man. All right, guys, good show today. My man Dwayne jumped in the building, homie. I'm still trying to figure out my damn Fire Stick, Dwayne. Like, don't laugh at me. Rashad Mitchell in the building. Appreciate you. And then always, I know there's a lot going on back east at the Mouse, but Carl Webb Jr. from ESPN, Louis Estrada breaking in. Appreciate you guys, man. Everybody have a good day, man. God bless. I'll see you guys Friday morning. NFL Draft tomorrow. Plus, NHL hockey is back tonight with the playoffs. It's on. Hey, Ottawa, come get some. You want some of the Rangers? We about to take out 2 Canadian teams. We took out the Habs for you non-hockey fans. That's the Montreal Canadiens. Pittsburgh still looks as strong as the defending Stanley Cup champions. The Blackhawks got swept by Nashville. It's going down, guys. Rangers! My Rangers, man. We a series away from the Eastern Conference Finals. NFL Draft tomorrow, guys. Good stuff. I'll holler at y'all, man. I'm out of here.